Ha! Welcome to another cold Tuesday evening in London. But Christmas is almost upon us. Therefore, I have lights behind me, just to emphasise the Christmasness of the occasion. Is Christmasness a word? It is now. So anyway, we're back with our sort of weekly roundup with my stupendous co-host Stupenzo. Just a couple of reminders. So don't forget that next Tuesday is the last Nielsen ratings of 2023. On Monday, we have our special review of Napoleon, the 1996 version starring Martin Weir. And on the Sunday, I have my annual movie quiz, except for the first time it's going to be online. This is a movie quiz I have been running since, I think, about 1998. Usually at my house. I have actually done two at my house this year because last Christmas's one was delayed till February because that was the day when everyone could make it. And then we did one in the summer when film director Matthew Holmes was staying with me from Australia. So it's not so bad that I'm having to do one online. It is two teams versus the chat. So you can take part by being in the chat. You're not eligible for the grand prize if you take part in the chat, but you can try and defeat the other teams present. It should be a lot of fun. That is at 9 o'clock starting GMT next Sunday. Without any further delay, let's bring in the first of my two guests today. Stupenzo, how's it going?
It's a pleasure to be back.
Look at that. You've got a massive episode 3 above your head.
Yep. It's my third time here, right?
Indeed. So, yeah.
Great Willy Wonka stream yesterday, by the way, on Canoli's channel.
Yeah, man. I stayed up till 4 a.m. So I was there for the whole thing, pretty much.
You sleepy man.
I mean, it is a favourite film of mine, so I couldn't not. But I did burn the candles for that one. But great to talk about it. Interesting to hear Vex Electronica's theory that Wonka is in fact an SS Oberfuhrer from Auschwitz and has escaped persecution and is now continuing his weird experiments on mankind.
Yeah, there's a lot of horrific metaphors and deeper meanings from that story, that movie.
Yeah, I'd never looked at it quite that way, and now I feel my childhood has been ruined forever.
Yeah, slavery and crippling poverty and orphans and sloths and all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff is in that movie.
How's your week been?
It's great. I mean, it's barely Tuesday, so yesterday was good. I mean, yeah.
Did you get to the cinema at all this week?
Well, not to the cinema, but yes, I've been watching stuff. Obviously, I did watch one of these shows we were going to talk about today, and saw some other good stuff. I've been burning through a lot of Godzilla movies because I'm trying to talk about Godzilla big time on Christmas evening. So we're going to try to talk about all the Godzilla stuff. I'm revisiting the older ones, and they're so fun.
Yeah, I actually, do you know what? We'll talk about those a little bit.
Sure.
But at the mention of Godzilla, let's bring in the Mothman of the North, Northern English bastard. Here he is.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me on.
Hicks, you look just like I feel. Are you under the weather a little bit?
A little bit better. Sometimes my nose blocks up, preventing me sleeping, but a bit of nasal spray, I'm okay.
Better.
Very good. Well, I'm glad to hear you're on the mend. This is the first day that I have not been coughing incessantly. I was invited to a Christmas party tonight, an annual thing with actor Dominic Cazenove. Hi, Dominic. You won't be watching because, of course, you've got your party on right now, which I should be at in West London. But I really thought I ought not to push myself too much because I'm still recovering. So, unfortunately, I'll miss it this year, but never mind. Well, this week we're going to talk about a couple of different things. Northern Bastard and I have watched a a couple of English shows. We've got I've got a movie to talk about, and also I've been watching some old stuff.
Yay.
I've been finding on YouTube. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, and also we're going to talk about some Godzilla classics, which I did used to enjoy watching as a child. They were often screened on sort of Saturday and Sunday afternoons, and always featured a scene with a man in a big suit wandering through some kind of chemical plant or something. You just knew that some sort of chemical plant was going to get destroyed in a Godzilla movie. That was always a given. Let's just see who's in the chat. We got David Macy. Good to see you. Desert Phoenix, mate. We will be doing a gaming stream soon. Just obviously, I'll put those on hold while my voice is not great because I have to do a lot of talking in those. We have Corey Cochran in the house, Keithy, Stupenzo. I thought he was banned. Did we not ban him from chat? How's he allowed?
Not yet.
Okay,
Not yet.
got to get on that, man.
Okay.
Leroy Peters is here. Leroy's going to join us next week when we do our final one. We're going to talk about favorite Christmas movies next week, but I won't rule out talking about anything new that we've seen. It's always fairly flexible, but I do want people to talk about their top 3 Christmas movies next week, guys. So have those ready up your sleeve.
I can tell you right now.
No, we're going to save that till next week.
Yeah, sure.
Next week.
Don't need to think about it.
Besides, there might be a new one that might come out starring Hugh Grant that maybe will take precedent.
Are you talking about Willy Wonka?
I've no idea. He is. I forgot he's in it. Of course,
He's an Oompa Loompa, and he apparently hated it and needed money for all of his kids.
Hang on. You mean he hated doing the film?
Right. Or at least that was like the bait headline that I heard. Maybe it's not true when you read the actual article, but yeah, something about how he just had some kids and he didn't want to take the job, and making the movie was a pain. Playing the Oompa Loompas, sure, right. He had to do makeup and sing and dance and all that stupid stuff.
They didn't do that thing. He didn't play like all the Oompa Loompas in the film, though.
Does he? I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. He's just the only one that has speaking lines.
Yeah, he seems to be getting fed up with a lot, though. Did you see his last interview? The look on his face is just like, fuck this shit.
Has Hugh Grant ever been like known as a good actor? I mean, he's handsome and charming, and
I never got into him.
He's always been the same dude. He's like a handsome, like, hello, I'm bumbly Englishman. How are you? And how was today? You know, he's always playing the same guy.
I think I like him in The Gentleman more. He should play more sleazy cockneys. He really should.
He's really good in. He plays that same character in 2 films of Guy Ritchie's.
Yeah, right. Guy Ritchie, and then he was also terrible in not terrible, but different in that terrible movie Cloud Atlas. I remember seeing the trailer and being like, "Is that Hugh Grant as like a crazy like jungle warrior, you know, with a shaved head and tattoos and stuff?" I was like, "What?"
Well, there you go. That's showing you that he's got range, isn't it?
Sure.
I mean, look. I'll tackle this because I get this. Funnily enough, Hugh Grant comes up a lot in conversation in the industry about can he act or has he just got there by his charm and all good looks and so on. And I'm sure if he didn't have his good looks and his charm, he wouldn't have got as far as he has. To say that he can't act, I think, is unfair. I think he can act. His range might be limited, and he is in risk of being typecast.
Right, typecast is more of his thing. He's more of a victim of that, really.
But there's a scene in 4 Weddings and a Funeral, and I'm just wondering if this scene is, bearing in mind that's the film that kind of propelled him to stardom, and it's the scene right after the funeral. I'm just seeing if it's on YouTube, and his friend, played by. Oh, he's also a good actor, very underrated. Mainly plays posh guys. Goes, fancy a walk, Charlie?
Simon Callow.
No, Simon Callow's the one who's died. This is the scene right after. This is the scene right after the funeral, and he goes for a walk with his mate, and it's along the south part of the River Thames, and you can see various bits of industry and things in the background. It's near the the big flyover road that goes over the river, right over the estuary, and they have that conversation. I hope I die before my parents, and he's talking about you know, I just thought one day I'd meet a nice girl, settle down, and you know, and he says, oh, that's the thing I love about you. You're so optimistic. You really think you know, that you'll meet someone and fall in love. That scene is really well played by both of those actors. James Fleet is the name of the actor in that scene. And I always remembered that scene above all the others in the movie. Really stuck with me. And every time I watch it, it gets me right in the feels. So, you know, there you go. There's some really good acting from him outside of the comical moments.
I like him in 9 Months. I mean, that's his big, real big American starring breakthrough role, you know, crossing overseas. And that's a fun movie about, you know, having a baby.
I thought his big starring American breakthrough role was when he offered Loretta Devine a lift in his car. Wasn't that anyway? But,
yeah, I didn't mind 4 Weddings and a Funeral a lot. I mean, in places, I thought the funeral scene was very sad with John Hannah giving that eulogy.
Yeah,
and but I never really saw what the big appeal was with it anyway. Everyone was banging on about it when it came out. Even the
maybe we should rewatch it 30 years later. See if it's a good.
Give it another go. I thought it was okay.
Well, we'll do a Hugh Grant special stream in the new year.
So I guess the point is the Christmas movie you're talking about was not the Willy Wonka movie. It's something else. They're saying.
No. I was being facetious. I was just saying, although you've got your top 3 picked already, who knows? There might be a new Christmas film
never know.
Hugh Grant waiting to drop. But in the meantime, let's talk about some other films that have come out and shows. So I understand The Boy and the Heron is currently released in the States. Has anyone seen it yet?
Our buddy Tyler saw it and he didn't know what to make of it. He basically was saying, I mean, he had some thoughts. I remember when he first got out of the theater, he's like, I probably have to see that again. But then I think Gord King.
This is Gord King's post.
Oh, right here.
One of the best films of the year. Akira Kurosawa of animation has done it again. So I mean, he gets a big plus. This picture here really reminds me of staring into Luke's face.
Well, Miyazaki movies are always like a vibe, you know, and I'm sure this one has that same vibe. Like a lot of the Miyazaki movies, it's like I don't think most people could tell you what the hell a lot of them are about beat by beat, you know. You just watch them because like they're good, they're awesome on a base sensory level, and they chill you out. They're mellow. They're good like Sunday afternoon watching.
Well, they've usually got some sort of metaphoric message about you know, losing the innocence of childhood, or about how the innocence of childhood is more powerful than the corruption of becoming an adult. This kind of stuff is a fairly common theme in a lot of his.
Huge blue skies with clouds and green fields and wind blowing. My favorite thing about the Miyazaki movies that doesn't get enough credit is the sound design in those movies. They're always great.
Yeah, I like the fact that Miyazaki can make films basically about nothing and they still be interesting. Look at Kiki's Delivery Service. It's just about a witch who delivers bread, and that's it. And it's really charming.
Eastern, a lot of the Eastern, especially old Eastern story structures, you know, they're a little different from Western stories, you know, with the third act and rising action. Eastern stories are normally like kind of like the Odyssey and stuff. Like you just meet a bunch of interesting characters and then come back home and reflect on what happened.
They're kind of like breaks from the usual crappy. Like if you're getting fed up of the usual 3-act structure films, these do make a nice break, and they're very relaxing and comfortable to watch as well.
I gotta say though, I like my favorite Miyazaki one is Princess Mononoke, because it's the most hardcore of all of his movies, you know.
Yeah, it's pretty violent as well.
Yeah, it's the one with the violence and the war and the battle and big animals and shit. That's kind of more what I'm used to in my animes.
Right.
But I do like Spirited Away a lot. I
need to tell my wife about this film as well. I've seen it mentioned many times, but I forgot to mention it to her because she's a big anime head. Straight away in the morning, anime.
I like Satoshi Kon way more than Miyazaki. If you're not into anime, check out his films. I don't really like anime shows, but like anime movies, a lot of them are good, and most of them are Satoshi Kon movies, like Paprika, Millennium Actress, Perfect Blue. Perfect Blue is like if Alfred Hitchcock made an anime. Watch that; it's amazing.
Yeah, I've seen. I need to watch more. I want to watch more cyberpunk noir sort of stuff. I kind of like the aesthetic of it.
When we talk about favorite Christmas movies, I'm going to bring up a Satoshi Kon anime.
I know what you want.
I do all the time.
Well,
I'm trying to watch that lately.
Let's save that for next week.
Sure.
Sticking with anime, then another show that everyone's raving about, which I think we kind of mentioned it briefly last week, was Blue Eye Samurai, which by the way has just been commissioned for season 2 already.
I know. Jay Diabolical Souls is excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, I've yet to watch it. I'll confess. I like the look of it. Have either of you guys seen it?
Yes, I'm actually talking about it now with Jay and Amateur Analyst on Thursdays. I joined in last week, and they want me on this Thursday, so break down in episode 4.
How long is each episode?
It's like 8 30-minute-ish episodes. So I watched it in 2 sittings, 2 small sittings.
Yeah, so it's an easy binge then.
Yeah.
And is it set sort of in a fictional kind of reality like a lot of these things are, or is it actually set in a historical?
There's no magic or none of that shit in this show. It's very grounded. I don't know how historically accurate it is, but it takes place in the Edo part of Japan where they were all isolated and
so kind of feudal Japan.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. It's going to encourage people to get out their Shogun board game and play it again once in a while. I like the look of it. I'm very interested in the Far East and this period of history. I'm doing a review of I'm doing a retro review of James Clavell's Shogun, of course, and then I'm going to be doing a detailed review of the new version in the new year. Watching the old version of it is quite painful because it's quite dated.
It'll be very painful for you.
Yeah. But it's I'm having fun watching it, but it's just everything about the way they shoot it and everything is very, very old school. I like the style of animation in this. It's very filmic.
What's crazy is like what I'm hearing from amateur analysts talking about how the show was made under a year for like a similar like 20 million budget, kind of something similar to Godzilla -1. It's a French animation studio. So I don't know. I mean, it's obviously assisted by computers, whatever they're doing. It does have like a like all the backgrounds and stuff for this great like kind of 2D look, but then there's like when the characters move, it does have this kind of 3D cell shading kind of look to it.
Right.
So, might not be. I don't know. That's the thing is like I can, even weird animation techniques and styles, I can always look past it. Some people get turned off by weird animation styles, and it's like I don't really care. I like all kinds of animations and live action movies.
Well, look at Princess. Was it Kaguya? What, if I'm pronouncing the name right? I mean, that's a very that looks like just drawings on a children's book, but it looks. But the story's so well done, you can't help but marvel at that as well.
Oh yeah, The Secret of Kells and those movies have really weird animation styles I like.
But then they get the Japanese are kind of a little bit more bonkers when it comes to being creative, but it's part of who they are though as well because it all comes from the culture.
French too, another French cartoon Triplets of Belleville. That one has wild animation. That's all over the place. It's a weird ass movie.
Stupenzo, what would you give this show out of 10?
I mean, I see the thing is it's like one season and it kind of ends on a cliffhanger, and it's like if the second season comes out and sucks, this score may change. But yeah, first season I'd say a solid 6 or 7. I liked it less than Amateur and Jay. Amateur and Jay are giving it like solid 9 out of 10s, 10 out of 10s. They're rave reviews.
Right. This shot here very much reminds me of Karate Kid / Kung Fu. Kind of mentor and student, something going on, but I don't know if that's what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, guy on the left, voiced by what's it, Shang Tsung? What's his name?
The actor who plays Shang Tsung.
Carrie
Hiroki
There you go. Yep.
Tagawa. Yeah, and then Maya
Rising
Erskine.
Sun, a bunch of great movies he's in. He does the voice of the sword maker, which is cool because, like, yeah, I mean, he's the age now where he should be playing like the elder characters. But I love him in Rising Sun and some of these other crazy movies. He's always playing like a crazy, Asian badass, scary mother father.
Yeah. Well, Blue-Eyed Samurai, people are recommending it. I will watch it. So when I've seen it, I'll have a chat about it on one.
Yeah, I feel like I'm being harsher on it than normal because, like, if this show had come out a few years earlier, I don't know. It's like got a lot of stuff we've seen before, but it's done better than all these previous attempts, basically. So,
all right. Well, we're going to turn our eyes to British drama now, and a show that me and Bastard have watched, which is called Platform 7. It's a 4-part drama available on ITVX or BritBox.
Can I tell you something, Lance? I saw it too. I watched this show.
Okay, well, so before we get into what we think of it, the basic premise is this. Starts off with Jasmine Robinson on the right, who's an actress people may be familiar with from the Channel 4 drama that became a Netflix drama, Top Boy. She plays one of the sort of top-level gangsters in that, lesbian character. She's actually a pretty good actress, I would say, tremendously talented for one so young. And it's not surprising to see her being given a substantial role in a drama like this. We know that she's dead at the start of the show. She's a ghost. She's trapped in a station or on Platform 7, hence the title of the show. And she witnesses another man, Edward, played by my good friend Phil Davis. There's an interview with Phil on the channel if you want to go and check it out, who commits suicide in the first episode. And of course, he ends up trapped on the platform with her. Gradually, we get to know a bit more about both their lives. And the central thread is that this girl did not kill herself. She was, in fact, murdered. And within 5 minutes of watching the show, maybe 10, I knew exactly who had murdered her.
Damn.
And I called it straight away. And the journey getting there wasn't as thrilling or as captivated as it could have been. I mean, I'll tell you why. So she's the Phil Davis storyline was the best thing about the show for me, and I'll come back to that in a minute. But she's been dating a white, successful doctor, so she's in an interracial relationship. It's set up through a series of flashbacks that we see that he had a previous housemate who was an Asian guy who is set up to be a potential stalker, which completely fell flat. Didn't convince me that this guy was a bad guy in any way whatsoever. It was so obvious that this guy was not going to be the bad guy, even though that's how they tried to serve him up in the story. It was obvious from day one, spoiler alert, that the doctor was going to turn out to be the bad guy. The case is being investigated by a policeman, black policeman, who's got a white boss who doesn't want him to investigate the case. And there are various other characters on the periphery. There's a couple of best friends and the parents and so on. It's very well acted, but for me, I felt that the ending and the obvious murderer and all the rest of it, I just felt it was just a bit naff. I'm sorry.
I'm so glad you said all that.
Yeah, I listen, and I'm a massive Phil Davis fan. I'm a massive Jasmine Jobson fan. I think she was very good in it. I think she did really well with the role. There is some very good acting in this show. There's a lot of things to commend the show, But one of the things I'm afraid ultimately is not the plot. It's just so obvious that the guy who turns out to be the murderer is the murderer. It's just so obvious that he's a psycho and all the rest of it. If she'd been in a non-interracial relationship, I would not, I have to say, I would not have guessed who the murderer was immediately. And I think that they could have played that card right to the final episode, and it could have been a lot more clever. You know, I just felt it fell into some agenda tropes and some box ticking tropes that for me made me very uncomfortable.
I'm so elated you just said everything. Yeah, because like I thought you were about to say, my buddy Phil, I love this show, and I was gonna have to like tell you, like, no, Lance, this show was bad.
We're not always we're not always going to agree on this chat show, and you guys should know coming on here, if you disagree, you're more than willing to say.
It would have been harder if you were like, it's because once you said your buddy was in the show, I was like, oh,
well,
maybe not be so harsh on it then.
I think the one thing that I didn't see coming was Phil Edwards' storyline. The twist with him was really well done, was really good. But he's I don't want to spoil that twist, but that he was set up to be.
I mean, you might as well. You spoiled the main plot. I mean,
anyone with a
don't guess it anyway.
Yeah, here's the thing. It turns out that he's kind of a bad man, and just like every other white dude in this, there's 3 white guys in this show, and they are all bad men. There's the commissioner who's like, "Give me your badge." You know, it was a suicide. You know, just like that standard trope. And then there's this character who is like, I don't know. It's like the movie's obviously. I'm going to keep saying movie, by the way, but the show is kind of like Ghost, kind of like I Know Who Killed Me. Some of these other Lovely Bones. It's got that kind of plot.
Yeah.
But it's like you meet this old white guy, and you find out that he was a terrible bad man. With his daughter and his family, and he kind of deserved to kill himself, basically. And then the other white guy is the handsome boyfriend who's the doctor and successful. And it's like, like you said, like the first episode is she's a ghost, like learning that she's a ghost, and it's like kind of like The Sixth Sense, except the twist is she's the ghost at the end. Oh, I'm trapped on the station, I must have died. And then the second episode is all about what is she doing here? Who does she think killed her? And it's obviously she thinks it's the unattractive roommate of her boyfriend, and like you said, it's like he's so obviously painted as like, here's the thing, guys. If you're ever being investigated for a murder or a dead person that you had nothing to do with, it, do not like throw the police out of your house, like screaming at them, telling them, you're wasting your time. Get out. I don't have anything to say to you, especially if you didn't do anything. It just makes you look so guilty.
Yeah. Even the police officer is like, all right, I'll fuck off then. Okay. Bye.
that whole storyline was completely unconvincing, because when you saw that guy in his home environment with the girl who was his new girlfriend of sorts, he was quite comfortable, and he also his whole plot was that he knew that his ex-flatmate, aka the doctor, aka the bad narcissistic evil boyfriend,
a white guy,
was a bad man.
And they didn't go now. Yeah.
so if the
all right, Lance is.
Oh shit.
Was that me or Lance? Oh well.
I'll host the show now.
I'll pick it up. Basically, what's crazy though, like I said, is like there's 3 white dudes in the show, but there's like 30 characters, and they're all either women of color, or there's some white women, but they make a point to show every white woman is in a relationship with a black man, which is so strange. And basically everyone is either Indian or African, and it's not like I don't know what the makeup is, the demographics of the UK, but is it that like non-Caucasian?
Seems to be the majority of the colored people do not speak good English. Every fucking diverse person speaks really good English in this one.
Oh, right. And this show is they're all doctors and police and that's the other thing is like the main cop who's got the hunch. He's like a random I want to say probably Indian guy. And he's just very into the idea of like something happened. It's like the woman was running. It's like, dude, people kill themselves like all the time on trains. In train stations. And like that was one of the first things I noticed was stupid about the show was like, some guy kills himself on the trains and their immediate reaction is just like, oh my God, call someone. It's like, dude, their reaction is like, again with another fucker jumping off the train track. That's their reaction. How you doing, Lance?
Yeah, I don't know what I don't know what happened there. I just like
fucking hell.
I just got kicked off.
So good. But yeah, I was just joking about how like one of the first weird things about the show was like the reaction when that guy kills himself. Your buddy, the actor, he plays that character, kills himself. Everyone's like, all the cops are like, oh my God, stop the tracks. Oh, but it's like in reality, it's like they probably deal with dozens of people jumping on the tracks like every month or year at least. I mean,
here's another body. Clean up his arms and legs.
Shit.
I'm getting too old for this job.
At least he's dead. The worst is when you find him and they're still alive. Like, help me!
Oh yeah, that's why.
You're like, oh boy, I gotta hold this guy's hand and watch him expire, basically.
Yeah, but the last two episodes do become unintentionally hilarious. Right when she first gets attacked. She runs off. So she doesn't go to her parents. She doesn't knock. She doesn't knock on her parents' door saying, my fucking boyfriend is trying to beat me up. Right. She goes on the fucking swings to take him out of it.
To keep the recap is like episode 2 is all like the red herring. And like you said, it's like so obvious it's the boyfriend. And then the third episode is like all the backstory about what happened with the boyfriend. Yeah. He was actually an awful boyfriend the whole time. Like, how do you not remember any of this stuff? Like he was crazy and stalkery and abusive and doing all the tropes. And then episode 4 is like, okay, now I'm upset and I'm a ghost. So I'm basically a poltergeist and I basically drive my boyfriend insane by fucking moving paintings and shit around. And it's like another, it
becomes funny.
It's kind of the, I hate to be, talk about like racial stuff and sexism stuff, but it's like, it's such a feminine power fantasy for just like petty revenge. Like, oh, this guy killed me, so I'm going to get him fired and make him go to the loony bin. If someone killed me and I was a ghost and I had power, I kill them. That's how a man thinks. Push his ass in front of a car. It's that simple.
Also, when he brought his new girlfriend in, why didn't she just get a big fucking pen and write, get away from him, he's a psycho? Right? Because she's just got the power to hold things, hasn't she? Why did she do that?
Well, there was a lot of there's a lot of plot holes that didn't hold true. As I was saying when I got cut off by the ghost, the Indian guy, the Asian Indian guy, who was basically trying to warn her. That's why he was upset. It was set up that he was upset because he knew this guy had done this before, and he was doing it to somebody else. And I think he quite liked her. As soon as the police come round, he would have just said, "Yes, I think he killed her. You should investigate him. I think he killed her because."
Right.
And I just thought none of his backstory about him being socially dysfunctional, so dysfunctional that he couldn't have a proper conversation with the police, rung true at all, because he was a fucking doctor. And you can't hold that position and be that dysfunctional. And we also established he's already in a sort of relationship with someone else, so he definitely could have that just all completely conflicting.
It's a bedside manner.
Your doctor. Imagine if that guy was your doctor and he's trying to find out what's wrong with you, and he can't even like look at you in the eyes and shit. Like, what's the matter? What hurts? Like, don't. Take it. So weird.
Doctors need a bedside manner. That's the important thing about being a doctor or a nurse or anything in that profession.
He just tells the nurse, like, "Can you ask him for me? Because I don't want to ask. Like, go in there and ask for me. I can't do it. I'm nervous."
Yeah,
I don't want to see that patient. She keeps giving me a boner when I see her.
Oh my God.
So overall, unfortunately, although there are some merits with this 4-part drama series, and some people will
answers are good. Yeah, I agree.
Some people will like it. Some people who just want to sit back and kick something that's vaguely engaging, and vaguely engaging is where it's at. We'll like it, but it could have been a lot better. And I just think it fell into some proper naff. I'm using my words carefully, but just some poor choices. In terms
I'm a
of
huge fan of Lifetime and Hallmark style movies because they're so like bad. And this kind of gave off Lifetime murder mystery vibes.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, like, the reason why I like them is like, especially when the actors do really good with like the stuff, the script they're handed, you know, you could tell these guys are pros because they're taking their stupid role like seriously. And, you know, that's kind of what's going on in this show. Every actor's like, every time the subtitles said she quivers. That's like, I can't believe how many times the subtitle said that. She's quivering. You know, just like, Jesus, stop quivering.
She's shitting herself.
Every time she learns something, she quivers.
I didn't know that you had the subtitles on when you were watching. Well, let's score this one. Out of 10 from me, it's a 5. It's got some things to recommend it. I would have actually, you know, this could have been a really great story about her being a ghost trapped on this platform, forcing the truth out of Phil Davis's character, and that would have been an interesting 2 or 3 part, and you could have dumped the whole white guy doctor's storyline murder thing. But that's not what we got. But yeah, I liked Phil Davis.
A great twist is if it turns out that she did kill herself, even though her boyfriend was a dick and stuff. Like that's the red herring. You realize, like, oh my god, she actually went crazy and killed herself out of like jealousy or whatever. You know, who knows?
That would have been clever. And then he went down for it anyway.
Right.
Yeah, that would have been clever.
Sure.
Hey, they're not going to do that. So what do you guys give it out of 10?
Like out of like, you know, enjoyment factor, like 2 out of 10. But if you like on the schlock scale, you know, like enjoyability so bad it's good, like maybe like a 5 or 6 out of 10 because it's bad. It's fun though. It's stupid to watch. I liked it. I like that stuff.
Let's start before we move on. What about yourself?
Yeah, first 2 episodes were good, and it does really get a low score, maybe 4.5, because this starts off with a male committing suicide. This is something that happens way too much now and could have been touched on very, very smartly.
Yeah. It's the number 1 cause of death in our country of men aged between 18 to 40 is suicide.
Yeah, it could have been dealt much more sensitively and much more better written as well.
Yeah, and there probably is a good there's a good drama to be made on that subject, but this isn't it.
I'll pitch an idea from it. You can use that maybe.
Well, I'm not making one anytime soon. So.
I
mean, you could instead of making like a 3-something hour movie, you could have made a nice 1.5-hour movie with just the story on the left of the guy on the left.
Yeah.
And he slowly realizes, like, oh, I jumped in front of the train because what I did to my daughter, you know, and that's like that would have been a crazy movie, you know?
I'll write the story, make it a play.
that scene where the daughter arrives on the platform and sort of has a little moment of speaking to her dad.
Right.
That was the most powerful moment in the whole
really was.
True.
Yeah.
And this could work as a play because the whole movie would take place, you know, on the platform, on a little, you just need a couple benches and imaginary train where the audience
2
is.
actors.
Yeah.
You don't need much, do you, really? You just need 2 actors just giving it 100%.
And then some random extras that just walk around in different costumes. There you go.
That sounds like the Harry Potter play. Right. Okay. Well, we'll move on from this. Now, somebody in chat asked, and they reminded me that I wanted to talk about this, but I forgot to put it on the list. David Macy said, "Have you seen Leave the World Behind?"
I did watch it.
It's good, keeps the intrigue going, but has a weird ending. Well, it's based on
I've been hearing that.
It's based on a popular book that was a big hit in 2019. I have a feeling the book might have been a self-published, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I have watched it. I watched it the night it came out. It's available on Netflix. I knew nothing about the book. I knew nothing about the backstory. All I knew is that I'm a huge fan of Ethan Hawke, having followed his career since he was in The Explorers. And I also think Julia Roberts is a very good actress, and I also like the guy whose name I'm gonna
Blade.
Mahershala Ali. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
actor.
him. I like him as an actor. He's a very good actor. Basic premise then quickly of the film is that Julia Roberts and Ethan Hawke plus their two children, a boy and a girl, are kind of a high flying upper middle class couple from New York, both with high pressure jobs. They haven't been on a holiday for a long time. And the premise of the show is a feature film. It's about 2 hours, 20 minutes. We get into it pretty quickly. Is, hey babe, guess what? We're going away this weekend. I've booked us a holiday. And Ethan Hawke's character is a bit like, what's going on? And turns out that they've been booked a really nice, expensive house. And I don't know if it's in the Hamptons. It's kind of within viewing distance of the distance of New York City. Would that be Jersey or Jersey Shore or something like that? I'm not quite up on my geography of what would have a view of Manhattan in the distance and also be in a nice bit of remote countryside. But that's where they go. They go to a very big modern house, the sort that you see in lots of films, usually where a computer takes over the house and starts murdering people. That, however, is not the plot here. So they go to the beach for the day. When they get to the beach, one of the things that happens is this ship comes crashing into the beachfront. It's a well done scene, although I was immediately thinking, yes, nice green screen work, but yeah, okay. And then other weird shit starts happening. Then basically these two people turn up at the house late at night, say, can we come in? We're stranded. By the way, it's our house. You're renting it from us. And tension thereafter ensues. And these are the four adults. Well, I guess the daughter is not quite an adult, played by Mahala, no surname, apparently. That character is actually the wife in the book, I've discovered. But they changed it to the daughter, I guess, to create more tension about whether the wife was alive. At one point, he finds a crashed plane on the coast, dead bodies everywhere. So technology has kind of stopped working, which is the premises of various sci-fi TV shows. One called Changes that was out in the 1970s in the UK, which was particularly creepy, had the same premise. Internet goes down. There's an emergency broadcast signal. Nearby, Kevin Bacon lives with beard and baseball cap. Therefore, he is a survivalist. And tension rises between various characters. I loved Kevin Bacon in this, by the way. He just
having Kevin Bacon and Ethan Hawke have a scene together was also very cool and something I didn't realize we haven't had before.
Yeah, but it's always good though, Kevin Bacon. He is. I don't think I've ever seen a bad performance with him.
No,
maybe those mobile phone adverts he used to do, but that's about it.
Yeah, I thought he was even good in those. I mean, I am also smiling because I'm also 1 degree away from Kevin Bacon. I'm trying to get Kevin Bacon to come on the show at some point. But yeah, I mean, so other weird shit happens, like deer wander into the forest and stare at them in a menacing like way. Now, I saw a lot of reactions on Facebook to this film. A lot of people kind of watched it and said, "Oh, I didn't get it," or "Oh, oh God, that was a waste of 2 hours." And then it was extreme opposites. So other people were like, "Oh, that was really captivating, really good." And I think that a lot of that will come down to whether you want your narrative neatly packaged with a neat ending, sort of a basic story that starts from beginning, middle, and end. This is not that film. This is quite a weird ending for the movie where you're kind of left to really create the fate of the characters for yourselves. But the most important thing is that one of the children gets to watch the final episode of Friends. So that's all I'm going to say about the plot of it. I'll hold my thoughts on whether I liked it or not before I hear from my guest. So, Bastard, have you watched it?
No, I've not. I've been hearing about it on the Drunk Post. I've been hearing a couple of people saying it's really woke, but I don't know. You seem to convince me like it might not be.
I
Not
didn't
really.
think it was particularly woke. I liked it. I thought it was very engaging. But I'll talk about it more.
Yeah.
Penzo,
Yeah,
what are your
yeah,
what are your
wait,
Yeah,
is
big
this-
problem.
wait,
Sorry, I was saying the movie. Yeah, I mean, everyone's talking about like this one scene all over Twitter about how like the two African American characters are in bed talking about how like if everything falls apart, promise me it'll just be us and we can't trust anyone, especially white people. Everyone keeps sharing that clip like that's the big controversy of the show of the movie.
yeah.
But the truth is, the big controversy, the big controversy, the big problem I had with this movie, and don't get me wrong, this movie was really well made. The camera work, especially in the first act of the movie, is next level. It's unbelievably awesome.
Yeah.
The movie looks really slick, and yeah,
Does
Ethan
look-
Hawke and Julia Roberts, and like I said, Ethan Hawke and Kevin Bacon having a scene together. They're both on their A game. They got great chemistry. The big problem is the movie's produced by the Obamas, and it's totally predictive programming. Like, I really think they're trying to get us ready for some kind of quote unquote cyber attack. I really think that's happening. So I didn't
Isn't
like
that
that.
already happening?
Trying to get you ready.
It happened earlier when I got cut off the stream.
Yeah.
So that could have been the preliminary attack. There's 11 people watching. Thank you for tuning in to the Nielsen ratings. Do like and subscribe. If you have been here before, holler and say hi so we can give you a shout out. If you're new to the channel, drop a comment in the chat and I'll be sure to plug it while we can, while the numbers are of a manageable level. But pleased to see you tuning in.
Yeah, just like on the movie standing alone, like, yeah, the movie's pretty good. I mean, it's pretty good for Netflix, or is it a Netflix movie? Yeah,
it is a Netflix.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Is a Netflix movie.
Of course. I mean,
I had a couple of issues with it. The racial tension between the two families was enough without that scene of
show don't tell,
because that scene could more just have been about, look, if it comes down to them or us, it's going to be us. Right. I don't think it needed to be anything more than that. This scene in which Bastard has a cameo, he's the third one on the right there. It's a good costume, by the way, Luke. You barely recognize you. This scene was well creepy. And so I was on some other review show where it said generally if deer turn up in a film, you know it's not good for the characters and they look ominous. And I mean, these are obviously all CG, very good CG, I have to say. And
very rare thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of scenes in the film that I thought were really good. I mean, there's a scene where someone's teeth start falling out, which really is quite
random
grim.
body horror. More movies need that.
There's the house. I wish I owned it. God, what a nice house.
I know.
And I bet that's a swimming pool on the left.
Yeah, but it's like you said, like all these movies nowadays have these like postmodern dead tech bullshit houses, to quote Heat, one of my favorite movies. But like they always have to have these like smart houses. Don't get a smart house, guys. All right, it's stupid. They'll turn off your thermostat. They'll control your fridge and stuff. No, smart basically just means spyware. Whenever something says smart, you have a smart mouse. It means the mouse is going to spy on you. You know,
this scene I thought was really, really strong because they see this car go bombing past, and they just manage to avoid it, and then they realize it's a driverless car. And of course, this is where we are now. We're moving into that level of technology where we're going to have driverless cars. They're already being road tested, and I guess this is set at some point in the future, a year or two. And all of these cars have been taken control by whatever external force is causing all of these things, and they're using them to block up all the roads so that people can't escape from the city. And we can see that they've been used to block the bridges out of in New York. There's one shot in the movie, and I don't think there'll be a still of it here, where you pan up above these trees and you see distant New York. It's on fire. You can hear gunfights going off. Civil war has broken out. And when you look at what happened not that long ago with your capital, it's not too big a stretch, really, is it? That this sort of scenario could occur. So there's a lot of food for thought in the film. I get that it's a bit preachy. I get that there's some messaging there that will make some people think, oh, for God's sake, do we have to have that in there? Those are the downsides of the film. But just to dismiss it for those negative elements, I think is unfair. I think, like Stupenzo said, it's a very well made movie.
I was blown away by the camera work in the first act. It was like David Fincher level. Like the first time you saw Panic Room, that kind of shit. Like, what the fuck's the camera doing, dude? This is nuts. Like, but like it's cool now because of drones and CG. Like it's so much easier and cheaper and better looking to do really wild, drone shots and all these cool like rolls. You don't see camera rolls a lot where like the camera rolls up the stairs, and you can see it going up and spinning as like Julia Roberts walking up the staircase. That's crazy for no reason.
They did well, they did it. Those camera angles and the weird
to show off. Basically, it's cool.
It was. I think a lot of it was to kind of ratchet up tension. They were angles that made you feel uncomfortable.
Right. I mean, there's a reason why they did it, but the point is, like, normally the cheaper way, the sensible way is like, just a camera on a tripod, maybe dollying or panning in and looking up. It's like the cheap way to do it. Instead, it's like you could tell they spent probably like an hour or two just planning like some of these random 3-second shots, and it's like, dude, nuts. Really cool. And also it's kind of the benefit of this digital age, celluloid doesn't cost anything, you just film and just knock everything out real quick.
So Bastard, how long did it take you to get into that deer costume?
Oh, I think it took a while because you got to get naked, otherwise it starts chafing and for the hell. But it does ride up into the balls a little bit. We'll say that.
Mate, you blended in with the CGI ones perfectly. You can't tell.
Oh, thank you. You're so kind. I wish I got paid for it though.
Look at that T-shirt, Bikini Kill.
I assume it's a band. I saw that shirt and thought it's probably Ethan Hawke's band. Probably someone's band.
Yeah,
let's look it up. I don't know.
Yeah,
he's kicking. He's really kicking ass recently, isn't he? That Ethan Hawke, especially with directing and everything. He's done pretty well.
Yeah, Bikini Kill is a 1990s American punk rock band, of course.
There you go. Well, he's never stopped working. I mean, here's a funny story. So one of my favorite films of all time is Dead Poets Society. And when people used to say, could you name a film that's your number one? Before I realized I couldn't really have a number one, that was the film I always used to say. It's definitely in my top 10. And
which one?
The first time I was in New York, which would have been just after, it was the second time I went to the States. It was just after, a year after Dead Poets was released. And I was walking along New York, and suddenly I saw these two guys meet on the street and hug and have a brief exchange. And one said goodbye to the other. And the one in front of me was Ethan Hawke. And I was trying to pluck up the courage to say hello to him because I wanted to congratulate him on his role in Dead Poets. I thought he was amazing. And so I followed him for about 10 minutes around New York, trying to pluck up the courage to talk to him. And because I didn't want to walk up behind him and tap him on the shoulder, I was trying to kind of overtake him and naturally recognize him and all this. And he kept like ducking here and stopping to look at this. And I thought, oh, this is feeling really odd now. And eventually he went into the subway and I just completely lost my bottle. And I really regret that, man. I really wish I'd spoken to him. Yeah, Leroy, they call that stalking. Well, I was trying to ask him out on a date, Leroy. I just wanted to actually congratulate him on a fantastic career. And I already knew I wanted to work with him even then because I already knew I was wanting to be a director back then. But that would have been in 1990, I think, something like that.
But it's done lots. I mean, White Fang is very underrated in my opinion. He's very good in that.
Good film, and I like the Sunset trilogy. Before sunrise, before sunset.
I need to give them a go. I've been hearing about them for years, but I haven't. I keep forgetting about them.
They're very Woody Allen in terms of their sort of tone, and it's a talking heads films about people talking and philosophizing about life. The third one is really painful. The third of the trilogy, is quite like, it's a bit of a warning. Like, you can meet the love of your life, you can end up with them, and it might not all be what you hoped. And anyway, but yeah, he's an amazing actor, one of the best of his generation, as is Julia Roberts. I was trying to work out when I was watching this how many of these cars were CGI in this shot, and I realized there was probably about 4 actual cars in the shot, and you could tell that the bumper damage was CGI changed on a couple of them, and I think the rest of them were all probably just added in.
What's the budget on this then? Because we've had Godzilla that has a lower budget than 15 million, as people speculated, and the CGI is real good on that. And I'm kind of guessing this isn't on a totally huge budget either, but like you said, the CGI is pretty decent. So
it felt like it had a pretty decent budget. I mean, you've got an A-list cast. Let's have a look. I can't find that information immediately.
Netflix is always so secretive about like how much money they're making and how much money they're spending.
I know, because they don't want to greenlight my show. Well, I can't find out. Guys in the chat, if you've got any ideas,
please
jump on Google, have a look. But look, it's not going to be a film for everybody, but I have to say I liked it. I thought the positives in it outweighed the negative messaging. Crimson Tide Smilex is one of my favorite films of all time, and definitely my favorite Gene Hackman movie, and I'm a huge Gene Hackman fan. So yeah, Crimson Tide, that's a film I've got to talk about.
I don't trust air I can't see. Yeah, he's always good. Come on, Unforgiven, Get Shot. He's very underrated in Get Shot. It's probably one of the few times where he plays a fucking loser, and he plays it so well.
Gene Hackman?
Yeah.
Dude,
Royal Tenenbaums. That's another great Christmas movie. But dude, he's so awesome as Royal Tenenbaum. He's such an asshole. He's amazing.
Yeah.
And his whole family hates him. But like, that's one of those movies. I think that's Wes Anderson's best movie, or my favorite Wes Anderson movie, The Royal Tenenbaums.
Before we move on, can we go on to Julia Roberts? Because I think this was her first film in a while as well. Because she retired for a while, didn't she, just to raise a family? I think that's what she said. It's been a while anyway.
She produced the movie. Along with the director, Sam Esmail, he also produced it along with Lisa Gillum, Chad Hamilton, a couple of others. But I think she used her Netflix. There was a big bidding war for the script, which Netflix won. So the writer of the book was very happy about that. And in July 2020, Sam Esmail was attached to write and direct. So this all the plotting of this was all going on among lockdown. Everybody thought that the industry ground to a halt. Oh no, that's when all the deals were being done for future projects. Denzel Washington was originally attached to do the film, but Mahershala Ali replaced him because he'd exited by the time it went into production because of obviously delays and things with lockdown and stuff. And it shot in Long Island in April of 2022. I can't find anything about the budget though. So
they try to cover their tracks, the money launderers.
I just think it's a good film. It's a bit like a sort of it's like a really good episode of the Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone vibes for sure.
Yeah, I
Black
think
Mirror.
You
could think of it as a lesser than Black Mirror movie,
Yeah,
like if Black Mirror made a subpar movie, sure. Because I think Black Mirror is on a whole better than this, right?
Yeah, I mean, Black Mirror's good. Not all the episodes of Black Mirror are as
Right.
amazing as they should perhaps be, but
Can't all be winners, I guess.
well, you know,
Yeah,
once they did that Star Trek imitation, you just couldn't, you know.
I love that episode
Oh,
actually.
that episode is amazing. That
I did.
episode is amazing. Plus,
Yeah.
plus, it's got Michaela Cole in it, so it's a win-win for me.
True.
So yeah, but Leave the World Behind. Look, I recommend it. I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10. Stupenzo.
Yeah, I mean, I give it a 4 or 5 out of 10 just for the technical stuff. I mean, probably you should watch it just to know what the powers that be, what the Obamas have in store for us. They want us to get ready for that kind of stuff. They want us to get ready for this. That's why I'm tinfoil hat time. I don't know. I watch these movies and I'm like, I don't like it.
There's already been some cyber attacks, so I mean, there's no doubt that there'll be more coming. Nerdly UK, Hackman and Runaway Jury with Hoffman. That is a good film. I like The Runaway Jury. I do like that film. I watched that again recently, and John Cusack is very good in that film as well, playing Nicholas Easter. Yeah. So, what about Northern Bastard? Have you seen it?
No, I haven't yet, but I'll try and check it out as soon as I can. There's loads I want to watch, though. There is loads I want to watch. It's a big list. Big list.
Big list indeed. All right. Well, I'm going to go back in time a little bit, and we're going to talk about a couple of oldies now, unless either of you have seen anything else that's new.
I mean, you go first.
before we go back in time, so to speak.
Let's go back.
Yeah, I must have watched old stuff anyway.
Yeah, let's wash our mouth out with this new stuff for a second.
Now I'm going to do a special. I will do a special episode retro review on this, but I'm going to mention it briefly now. So one of my, as you know, I'm a big World War II buff, history and all of that kind of stuff. And one of my favorite sort of Christmas war movies, if that is a subgenre, I'm not sure that it is, but is A Midnight Clear. Now, this is actually directed by an old mentor of mine, writer, director / actor Keith Gordon. Most of you will know Keith Gordon playing Arnie in the adaptation of Stephen King's Christine, directed by John Carpenter, which came out, I think, in 1983. And Keith plays the lead role of Arnie Cunningham, who gets possessed by the car. He went on to become a writer-director. His first film was called The Chocolate War, which was also based on a book. And his second film, which he was also the writer and director of, was A Midnight Clear. And it's about a platoon of young American soldiers set in the Ardennes just before the Battle of Bulge. This came out in 1992. I was at the world premiere of it because it premiered at the London Film Festival, and Keith was there. And I went to see it because I was following the career of Ethan Hawke. I knew who Keith was, so that was a win for me. But it's got loads of others of my favourite actors in. Frank Whaley, who he's a character actor that turns up in all kinds of interesting roles. Some of you might remember him in JFK when he's on the gun range and he goes, "Oh, sorry, I thought I was shooting at that son of a bitch Kennedy." He's a great actor. He plays one of the other soldiers in this. I've actually chatted to him on Twitter in private a couple of times. Gary Sinise is in it. So is Air Gross, who looks like Dustin Hoffman's younger brother lookalike. You've also got Peter Berg, who, of course, is now a huge director. And you've also got Kevin Dillon. And it's based on a true account of a platoon of American soldiers who realizes that the platoon of German soldiers who's located nearby are keen to surrender. And this is when they actually first meet and have a chat with them. And you can see that the German soldiers have actually built a snowman. And they try and arrange it so that the Germans can actually give themselves up peacefully, but make it look like a firefight takes place so that their families won't be penalised for them surrendering. In other words, they've got to make it look like they were captured. Unfortunately, it all goes horribly wrong, and nothing quite goes according to plan. So most people won't have seen this film because it didn't get a huge release. It's not a big action movie. It does have action scenes, but it's not a big action movie. It's more of a cerebral film, but it's really well done. It was shot entirely on location in the Colorado mountains. All these actors are wearing scuba gear underneath this army kit because it was shot for real in the snow. And it's just extremely well done. Fantastic cast. I highly recommend it. I believe the whole film is on YouTube. And you do have a Blu-ray as well of it now, but I think you have to come to the UK to buy it, apparently. And we have a super chat from Blue Collar Loser for $5. Speaking of older films, took my son to see The Abyss Special Edition and Die Hard this week in theaters. First time I saw both in a theater. Amazing. That must be the new 4K edition of The Abyss, which I bet looked incredible. And by the way, Blue Collar, if you've got time to pop in, mate, I did already say we've got room for you today. If you do want to come in, I believe the link is in your inbox and you can tell us all about The Abyss, because I'd like to hear about that. Thank you for the $5, man. Very, very much appreciated. So have either of you guys seen this movie?
Negative.
No, I think I saw your post about this as well, and you mentioned Keith Gordon from Christine. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Toxic love that movie. Don't know if you do as well, Stupenzo.
Of course.
Yeah,
I have the soundtrack to that movie on vinyl in the box behind me. Well, it would be great if you guys could make a point of watching this. This is set over Christmas. It's got a Christmas sort of message of peace, and it's kind of an anti-war movie, but done in a very clever, non-preachy, ram it down your throat way. And Gary Sinise is particularly good in this. I mean, you can really see how talented he is here, and he's probably only 21, 22 here, something like that.
Plus, he has big respect for the veterans, though. He's been doing a lot of charity work for them. He's one of the few actors I have mad respect for at the moment.
Well, I'm going to give you guys some homework, which is to watch this show,
sure,
so that we can see it. We can talk about it. Next year together when I do a special episode on it. Rennie is saying my stream is ghosted. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means. I looked on my homepage of YouTube and you're streaming.
Yeah, I've got it. I mean, maybe she's seeing the bit where I dropped out earlier, because I did fall out of my own stream. We're not quite sure entirely what happened, but
that was an awkward 10 seconds.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it felt like a very long 10 seconds here.
Surpenzo just fucking takes off at your corpse.
Well, anyway, if you want to see Ethan Hawke early on in his career in a film you probably haven't seen him do, this is the one. As an interesting title for the movie there. But yeah, definitely check it out. A Midnight Clear, great film.
I'm sure if this show is ghosted, it's my fault some way, so I apologize.
Yeah. Speaking of war films set around Christmas, I am currently been watching a little bit of Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence. Though I've not seen anything Christmassy about it so far. The one with David Bowie.
Rennie's saying she had to go to my page to find it. It disappeared from my home and subscription screens. Just wanted to let you know. That's interesting.
On YouTube.
Funny thing is, we've got 12.
A lot, though.
It could be because you dipped out. Maybe I have no idea how that works.
It might be because I dipped out. I think that's probably why. And we do have 12 people watching, which is a lovely number. Thank you very much for tuning in, people. Don't forget to leave a comment, especially if you're new to the stream. I want to hear from you.
It's either because you dipped out or it's because of my criticisms of that Netflix movie. One of the two.
Well, could be. Yeah, you only gave it a 5, man. So maybe that's an automatic marker on it. Anyway, look, I recommend A Midnight Clear. That film is a solid 8.5 from me. It's a tightly budgeted war movie. Don't expect big action scenes. It's not Pearl Harbor, thankfully, but it's a solid film. It's a really good movie. So okay, that's the first of my oldies that I wanted to talk about. The second is more unusual, but while I was waiting to come on the stream and I was going to eat my dinner, you know how YouTube suggests stuff, and somebody has uploaded all the old episodes of The Streets of San Francisco. And that show debuted in America in 1972. It's a massively successful cop show, of course. And you can see it on a guy's channel called Fuzzy TV. If you want to go and check it out. I'm not sure legally how he's getting away with uploading all these things, but he is. And I thought, well, I'll watch the pilot because I don't think I've ever seen the pilot of The Streets of San Francisco. And interestingly enough, it stars Robert Wagner as the kind of possible bad guy, villain of the pilot. And then you've also got Kim Darby of Better Off Dead in there as the victim, as well as, of course, Michael Douglas and Carl Malden.
Dude, we were talking about Carl Malden yesterday.
Well,
yeah, he's
Carl
an old
Malden,
actor, though. Really good old actor.
I mean, he's gone, but he's not forgotten. And of course, he was in the Battle of the Bulge movie, if I remember rightly.
We were talking about actors that have always looked old, and he was one of the first ones to get mentioned.
Yeah, Streetcar Named Desire, On the Waterfront, Patton. He's one of those, another one of those old actors that's always been good.
He has such an impressive proboscis. His nose.
I was about
the Family Guy joke.
We should do a special stream called the Mighty Proboscis, and you could have we could have Carl Malden, Dustin Hoffman. You know, this is him with Richard Hatch, the late, and bless him, Richard Hatch. He passed away not that long ago, from Battlestar Galactica. I did not know that Richard Hatch had a recurring role early on in The Streets of San Francisco. But apparently he did.
Is he one of the main characters in the pilot before Michael Douglas took over?
No, because I just watched the pilot. Unless there was a pre-pilot pilot, there might have been. I've just watched episode 1. There might have also been a pilot that got the series commissioned, and maybe Richard Hatch was in that pilot, and then Michael Douglas took over. That is possible. But one of the things I really love about this show is the music. You know, it's got that kind of. If you watch an episode of Naked Gun, the music is exactly the same.
Oh yeah,
you know, yeah.
So 70s saxophone music, yeah,
and
very Dirty Harry like,
yeah, very Dirty Harry, but it kind of gives it a fun vibe. And I was reading through the comments of people that have watched obviously the shows, that because I've never seen all of these, it was a treat to be able to stay up and watch it, and that wouldn't have happened until probably 1977, or it would have been when I was allowed to watch some of these. So you know, I would have missed all the early stuff because I don't think they would have been repeated that often. So there's a lot of episodes I never saw. There's David Soul.
Yeah. Starsky and Hutch.
Starsky and Hutch was the first show that I was allowed to stay up and watch. I am going to do a top 10 cop shows, by the way, next year. So you guys got to be on that stream. So you can vote. Roscoe Lee Brown. He's a classic old actor. Brenda Vaccaro. Look at her. How young is she there?
Pretty woman. Very pretty woman.
These are all people that have done little kind of guest spots on the show. There's Loretta Sprang in the background there. I mean, it is very dated, but I don't know. There's something about it that's kind of, it's quite engaging as a
I love. Come on, you gotta love these 70s cop shows. I mean, look at Kojak as well. That is still great, even 50 years on.
Yeah, that is Alcatraz prison. and there's an episode of Streets of San Francisco. I don't know if it's set in Alcatraz or it sticks in my head where somebody's got a load of people chained to desks in a classroom, and some kind of mad killer, the usual thing. But this show ran for about 5 years. I don't know how many episodes there were in total, but there was a lot. And I guess it's where Michael Douglas cut his acting chops, and I'm sure his chops did lots of other things. But yeah, look, it's on YouTube. If people haven't watched it ever, go back and check out the pilot episode because there's all kinds of famous faces in it. It is a bit cheesy, but the comments underneath the show are from people who lived in San Francisco in the 70s, and the universal comment that I saw was, this show really captures what the city was like at that time, and it's gone now. That San Francisco no longer exists because it's changed so much.
Yeah, I've seen footage. It's like heroin needles, bloody homeless in tents all over the place now.
It was a different place when I was there, and I was there in the mid 2000s. And Smilex, so I go through the entire Columbo run every 5 years.
I tried to put in the comments, Columbo is the GOAT, but that was blocked. I don't know why. So Columbo rules. Columbo's great.
Can you not put Columbo as the GOAT?
I don't know. I definitely get a lot of rejected comments.
Oh my God. Yeah, I tried it. An error occurred. Wait a moment and then try again.
No. Yeah. It's no goat metaphors. Maybe I gotta write it out as G.O.A.T. Maybe no.
I just put goat. What I don't understand what the issue is with goat. Chips is another show we could definitely talk about.
There you go.
But I'm not going to do a whole retro on cop shows right now. But we're going to do we're definitely going to do a cop shows.
I like how Columbo, each episode is a film. I didn't realize that until like a few years back. We're like, I thought these episodes were shorter. No, they're all like 90 minutes long. It's like, Jesus.
Leroy Peters' favorite cop shows: New York Undercover, Law and Order, SVU, and Chips. I've got to say, my favorite one is The Shield, and I'll be telling you why another
The Wire.
Another time. Oh, John Sachs.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, who remembers the Starsky and Hutch episode where John Saxon played a vampire?
Well, I always loved him from I loved him from the 1990 made-for-TV movie My Mom's a Werewolf. And he's a werewolf who seduces mother and turns her into a werebeast.
Right.
It's a weird movie, man. It's so bad. I love that stuff. John Saxon. I love his cameo in From Dusk Till Dawn. Love it.
Well, yeah, I believe all of the seasons there's Anthony Zerbe, who some people will remember in he played a James Bond villain who came to
he's in those terrible Matrix sequels. Oh God.
Yeah, I love that bit in License to Kill where just they put him in the pressure tank and they fucking splats all over the blood and he's like, what should we do with the money? He's like, launder it.
on the UK release, that scene was heavily edited. For
yeah, I think they brought it back in the Blu-ray law. I mean, you actually see his head splat all over the windshield.
It was when it came out on
splattered all over the windshield. This actor,
when it came out on widescreen on VHS, it was the full version, and thereafter, Vic Morrow, that's the actor who was decapitated while filming an episode of The Twilight Zone or Twilight Zone the movie, wasn't it?
Yeah, John Landis.
He
got in trouble for that one.
Yeah, and the two kids died as well. A Quinn Martin production, and they always had like wasn't Streets of San Francisco, it always had like an epilogue section, didn't it, where a thing came up and actually said epilogue. And I've got a guy who worked on the production who's going to confirm that for us now. Here he is. Streets of San Francisco had an epilogue section, right?
Nice.
Yeah, good. Thought so.
Right. Nice.
Welcome, Luke Blue Collar.
I love you mentioned the Shield, man. Shield is a fantastic show. I can watch it all day.
Yeah, I've got the full I've got all the seasons behind me.
Yeah.
On the shelf here, and we're going to do a special stream just on the Shield.
Oh, nice.
I have talked about doing it episode by episode, but I don't know if I'll have time for that. But I'm definitely going to do. To start, I'm going to do an episode on why I think it's one of the best shows ever written. Leroy Peters doesn't like it. Boo to you, Leroy. I think it's amazing.
Smilex wants to know what Blue Collar's drinking.
Well, right now, vitamin water, because we're preparing for LA Confidential, so I got to limit myself because we're doing that in a couple hours.
I don't think that's a good movie to get drunk to, honestly.
Are you guys are doing LA Confidential tonight?
Yeah, fantastic.
Yes, we are.
Oh man, I wish I could stay up for that.
But in chat, Lance, yeah, so you mentioned, so I kept this from Regal. So yeah, here it is, the Abyss special edition. Check that out.
Yeah, hold on. Let me make you. Let's get you full screen on that. Hold that there.
Because Regal was handing these things out. I gave one me and my kid special edition, December 6th, and then right on the back, check it out, the James Cameron 4K coming out next year. All his films.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, and like we said, man, seeing the Abyss, it was remastered in 4K, so it was fantastic. I mean, what sucks is I don't understand the marketing. Why it said one night only, December 6th, one showing. You think James Cameron would be advertising more than just one showing? So
well, it's a market game because if you have too many screens, you have to pay for every showing, And it's one of those things where, like I was talking about last night, I was comparing it to Fish, and that upset Lord Toxic always, but it's like. Fish sells out. The band Fish, they sell out all the time. Madison Square Garden, New Year's Eve, 5 shows, 12 shows. They'll all sell out immediately. But it's the same 2,000 dudes over and over and over again. And the same thing with these special these special screenings. It's like you have one screening of The Abyss, you could probably fill it up. If you have 2 screenings, maybe you can fill it up. But once you start multiple days, multiple nights, it's hard to fill those seats. And usually old movies are only reserved for Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Mondays. I don't think you're allowed to do special screenings on Thursday, Fridays, or weekends. Not allowed.
Let me ask you a couple of things about this version. Did you, because when I saw the re-release of Terminator 2, and I've watched that film enough times to know, I could tell that they had done a polish on a couple of the visual effects. There was deletion of wires, a little more cleanly, shall we say. Of course the big difference in the special edition, or the director's cut if we like, of The Abyss is mainly, not only, but mainly the big sequence at the end with the waves, and them threatening to destroy the whole world, which makes a hell of a lot more sense. Back in the days when Miss Mastro Antonio was did they do a polish on those waves?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm watching and tell myself that this does not look like CGI from 1989. As I'm watching, I'm like, yes, it's remastered in 4K, but I don't know how much it's polished, but you can tell like this is pretty good CGI for considering this film is 30 some odd years old.
Right.
So,
I mean, I think I took about 15 people to see this movie at the cinema when it was released, and I was quite disappointed when I first saw it because I could tell that there was a lot missing.
Yeah.
And there was just various things in it that didn't quite sit. And for me, the most powerful scene at the beginning was the destruction of the submarine.
Yeah.
And that shot when it impacted the bottom of the ocean, you suddenly saw the water rushing up and the guys are like running and there's nowhere for them to go. God, Jesus, you really felt that. But sort of after that, I don't know, it just kind of wasn't working for me. There's Kimberly Scott, bless her. She's no longer with us.
Really?
Fantastic actress.
This is a movie.
Yeah, this is a miniature. This is a great miniature in the film. The boat with the big crane on it. Ken Jenkins there. I mean, it's a much better movie, the director's cut. It's still not a great movie, but it's good.
Yeah, I think definitely still, seeing the well, first off, going to the theater with my son, watching production hell, then watching this after it, it puts movie into a different context. When you watch Critical Drinkers production hell, then watch this, you're like, okay, I have a high respect for the film after watching production hell.
Yeah.
Well, he hated Ed Harris hated James Cameron after this, though, didn't he? I mean, he's remember watching the commentary on The Rock where Ed Harris was talking about Michael Bay saying, I want to be like James Cameron. It's like, why do you want to be like him? I mean, the guy has to be a fucking asshole when he directs you. You don't need to do that. So, the experience must have really left a bad taste in his mouth because he nearly drowned, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
And the crew in the working on the production, they had all these T-shirts printed that said "Life's an abyss" and then you die.
Jesus Christ!
And they all turned up wearing them on the same day, so that like Cameron couldn't bitch about it. Yeah, he was universally hated on set, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, part of me does have a soft spot, especially like seeing in the theater where Ed Harris, that infamous scene where I'm slapping her and bringing her back to life. Like you can just like the whole theater is quiet. Like that's a really good. His acting is fucking amazing in that scene. Like
that scene wouldn't work. It wouldn't work if if those two actors didn't sell that scene. That scene would have been so cheesy.
100%.
But they do sell it. They do sell it.
I talked about it yesterday how like more directors need to almost drown their actors and put them through the meat grinder, treat them like props, make them sit in ice cold, murky water for extended periods of time without breaks and snacks.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
But there wasn't a special edition. So, again, Die Hard came out when I was 5. So my son's 16 and they put out Die Hard, the re-release for Friday and Saturday. Again, they had like 6 showings at the theater and the first showing is almost sold out. And I'm like, Die Hard is almost 40 years old and people still want to see Die Hard in the theater.
Did you see a 70mm print of it?
No, it was just regular, I guess, the theater version. Yeah. Well,
when it came out, there was, I was in America, as you know, and there was one screen at that multiplex where you could watch in 70mm prints.
Really?
And it was on there for the first week, and I was like, I saw it in that screen about 4 times. Oh man, it was so good. When I had to watch it in a smaller screen, I was like, no.
You can tell people were fans of the film because especially the infamous Alan Rickman scene when Hans is falling off, the entire theater busts out laughing because at this point they know it over time, but like the look of fear in Alan Rickman's face because it was actual fucking fear.
Yeah,
because he they didn't tell him that they were going to drop him at that particular point.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was pissed off with John McTiernan after that as well. He really was, bless him.
Yeah,
I've actually got a advent calendar of Hans Gruber falling from the Nakatomi Plaza right now. Another few more sleeps, Hans Gruber goes fucking splat along with his fucking well-tailored suit.
So look at that. That's a miniature in that shot, guys.
Wow,
that's a miniature. That's a model. Really good miniature work. That must have been done in a huge tank. So, and Chris Elliott there from Groundhog Day.
Yep.
Woogie. Is it Woogie from There's Something About Mary? Is that his name in real life? Yeah. He's fucking he's funny.
The man with the skin condition. There's Michael Beach in a really small role as well.
Yeah.
So was your son seeing these films for the first time?
No, of course, like I'm a good dad. We've watched The Abyss and Die Hard before, but we never seen it in theaters. And of course, I never seen it. I just never wanted to watch the special edition because you're always scared about director's cuts. But the special edition for this one was just I liked it a lot. I was surprised how much I liked the extra 28 minutes of footage. They just say a half hour.
It's kind of necessary, man. It's for this one. Without it, it's weird. The movie feels like like Lance said, it's missing a lot. You could tell it just went through the ringer and the cutting room floor,
That's what we did. On the way back home, I popped in YouTube. I wanted to show my son the special edition ending versus the original. And the theatrical version, you can say it's so like 1 minute and that's it. It's over. And you can tell there's so much missing.
And there's that you can tell that there's that line that they clearly added in. Probably
that scene right there was good.
Yeah, that's a great scene.
But she's crying because imagine the fear of like you're gonna fucking drown and you have to hope that your kind of husband can bring you back to life after 10 minutes of being drowned. Like that shit right there.
Yeah.
I think Blue Collar can deduce my favorite part of The Abyss because I keep referencing it whenever he asks me to make thumbnails and stuff. What do you think it is?
Is it this scene with the toy stuck on the outside of the window?
No. It's the scene where they put the rat in the pink liquid and make it breathe underwater. That is so cool.
When I was watching that, I'm thinking like PETA now in 2023, PETA would slay them guys for that shit. There's no way.
Apparently that scene was real. Apparently that is real fluid that they use that they can do. You can breathe it. It's nuts.
Yeah. Was that Harris actually using that as well? Because he really looks like he's fucking gasping forever.
Ed Harris wasn't using that, I don't think, but that rat was.
Yeah, I won't be surprised if James Cameron actually made him fucking do it because he's a real
you're fired.
Yeah,
like no,
because he is very strict and he has to get it right, and yet people call him an arsehole, but the dude really knew to make movies. He always put a lot of thought into it. He always put a lot of thought into his details, everything.
I think one of the reasons why he's such an asshole is because he fought so hard to get like total control. He went through a lot of crap during his earlier movies, and when he finally started getting like respect and Final Cut, then he just kind of went overboard with it. Just like it's my way or the highway, and it's just like you don't want to be like a dictator, you know.
I kind of respect his struggle as well because. He was buying cheeseburgers with coupons and eating one a day.
Yeah, and living in the backseat of his car. We all know the story.
And one of those burgers
give you a right to be an asshole. I mean, that's the other thing is like you see video of him directing. You see video of him directing Titanic, and he's just like, Mark, what the hell's he doing over there?
Yeah,
like why is he over there? He wouldn't be over there because at this time he would technically be over there. So what the hell, man? Like that's how he talks to everyone, and it's just like, dude, that shit will get so old after weeks or months. Someone's gonna punch son of a bitch in the face eventually, you know.
Well, I can tell you one thing: the definitely the Mary Elizabeth Ashton, how say her name? I keep forgetting. The whole they say Mary Elizabeth
Mastrantonio.
There we go. Yeah. Well, the whole like CGI with the water tentacle, even today, like that, you can tell that was getting into Terminator 2. That looked fantastic.
The Abyss walked so Terminator 2 could run, you know. Or the T-1000 could run.
So the point I was going to make earlier was when they rise up out of the water at the end and they're on the alien ship, which also kind of makes no sense. But anyway, because they're over here and the ship comes out the trench, so somehow it catches them, moves their thing, and then we don't see that happen. But let's just say that they did that. The science of it would be, of course, as soon as the hatches open. Because they haven't gone through a proper period of decompression, they would all just immediately die.
Alien technology, bro.
And I think somebody said this to Cameron at some point.
Yes.
Like, you need to address this issue. Quick rewrite. Hey, why haven't we died? The aliens must have done something to us. And that line is so inserted in the movie. It's it definitely wasn't in the script in the earlier draft because they would have
bubbles.
They would have put it. That what they would have done is they would have put it on the text that the aliens were putting on the screen with Ed Harris saying, "We go to." They would have said something like, "We go to the surface. You will be safe," or something.
I think my favorite part of the movie thematically is, of course, Michael Biehn going crazy. You know, like it's so good.
Cutting his arm. It's like, oh man.
And every James Cameron movie has a nuke. You know, a nuclear warhead or a nuclear bomb centered around something. Nukes are a big problem for James Cameron. You know, he doesn't like them.
Yeah. And Michael Biehn was hoping he was going to get the bad guy role in Avatar.
Really? Wow.
I've read the story about that. He went to see him when they were in prep. They were in pre-production. The role had not been cast yet. He'd read the script and he kind of showed him around the technology set and where they were going to be shooting stuff. And Michael Biehn said he should have said to him there and then, because he kind of dangled the part in front of him, and he should have said to him there and then, so do we have a deal? Am I getting the role or what? But he didn't for whatever reason. And unfortunately, he didn't get the part. But the actor who plays that role is fantastic.
Because Stephen Lang, especially that dude's he's in great shape too.
Oh, he's a physical presence. He's really good as the bad guy in that film with Michael J. Fox and James Woods called The Hard Way. That is such an underrated movie.
Oh yes, I love that film. I know.
We got to do a special on that. He is also very good.
He's so over the top in it, Stephen Lang, because he's actually very good at being a very hardened bastard in some films, but in hard way, he's really over the top and flamboyant and camp, and he could have been a good Joker as well. The way he laughs, the way he laughs and acts.
I'm sure James Cameron has a role for Michael Biehn in one of the half dozen planned Avatar sequels. You know, well, maybe we'll see him as a Na'vi.
I won't see it. Blue Collar will, and he'll be like, "Yeah, so you're like, I love that fucking movie," and I'll be like, "It's shit. I hate it. I fucking hate it."
Well, let's move on. So I assume that your son cherished those experiences with you, and
definitely.
If I had a kid, I'd be taking them to see re-releases of old movies all 100%. The time. So I think, man, what a cool dad. I think you win Dad of the Year.
Yeah, I'd have you as my fucking dad. Jesus, I would.
Okay. So on the subjects of films that maybe you're going to take your kids to see, who has been to see Wonka?
It comes out for me on Thursday, so I'm curious because, like Stupenzo said, we're hearing mixed things about it. Surprisingly, I'm
piqued interest because the guys who made Paddington 2 made it, and I've never seen Paddington 2 but I hear it's like the greatest movie ever. I hear it's like one of the best movies of all time.
Yeah, Paddington 2 is a lot of fun.
So
Wonka is a well-intentioned, well-made film with a lot of great British comedy cameos that definitely leans more into the world of the Gene Wilder one than the Johnny Depp one. But we won't talk about it in depth today because I'll wait until you guys have seen it and then we can all voice our opinions together. I thought the songs in it were very good.
Cool.
As well. Northern Bastards, you're up for this part.
I'll have a look. Yeah, I look fucking dapper in orange face and that suit with the green hair. I can fucking pull it off.
Luke honestly looks more like Timothy Chalamet. Honestly, just a little older.
Yeah,
a little bit fatter as well. Yeah, a little bit fatter,
drunker, and stupider.
Actually, now you mention it, because I'm from Hull, and he's been saying that Hull has the sexiest accent. I can't see it, but despite his stupid girly dresses, I'll let him off a little bit just for that.
It's the thing with like actors always wanting to be rock stars, you know, but they just can't play instruments. So it's like, I don't know. Like go back to that last image, like Rowan Atkinson. Look how baller he looks compared to like weird Timothy Chalamet's like, you know, pink blazer with no shirt. You know, I don't know where that picture went, but Rowan Atkinson, like that's a class act man. Like I respect.
It looks like he could be an indie rocker in the late 2000s. He could be.
Yeah. Well, I met Timothy at the after party of the June premiere, and I have to say he was really lovely. And he's just a kid, man. It's
right, of course.
I couldn't believe, like, you know, at the after party, he was basically there in like like, you know, those really loud hoodies that you used to wear to raves. Northern Bastard will know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I knew plenty. You mean like for the fucking acid heads and all that lot?
Yeah.
And all that stuff.
You'd wear these really. He had one of those on. It was like and you know, just kind of like casual trainers and whatnot. And he looked like he was about to go to a rave.
Dude, I would have loved to like go to like a 90s English bass rave with Lance. That would be amazing.
Listen, man, when I get the time machine,
sweating our balls
running,
and grinding our teeth, you know.
Yeah, 24-hour party people. Stupenzo, watch the 24-hour party people. That's a real good one. That.
I've seen that one. I've gone to raves too, you guys.
Yeah.
In Texas and Mexico.
You know what? A good double bill of two movies to talk about together, because I do these double bill specials. If you look on the channel, a good double bill would be Human Traffic and 24-hour party people.
Yeah,
that'd be.
I love it.
Yeah, Human Traffic.
I like
is great.
Go a lot. I think Go is one of my favorites.
Do it for Smilex, who's mentioned, so some vodka for everybody.
Go is good. Go is good. I love that whole setup in Go where you think those two guys are going to turn out to be gangsters, but they just turn out to be guys that are pushing, you know, their
lame sellouts to undercover cops trying to, like, you know, save their own asses, you know.
No, they turn out to be salesmen. They're part of a sales pyramid scheme.
Oh, right. No, they do that in addition to being cops. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that guy. William Fincher. Yeah. like takes him home and tries to give him that what is it called? It's Confederated Products. You're like, you mean like what's it called? Not layaway. What's it called? That thing.
Yeah, it's a bit like layaway, but
no. It's like a name they had for it, like that pyramid scheme. I don't care. Yeah, Confederated Products. You know, basically you order all your stuff from this like, you know, company, and like you recruit salesmen. It's a pyramid scheme. So silly.
Yeah. I'm definitely interested in Wonka. I think a lot of people, they're burnt out by the whole prequel thing, but like, you know, people say multiverses. Marvel is messing up multiverses, but Invincible is doing multiverses correctly. So I think any prequel idea can work. I mean, Chalamet's a great actor. Wonka, I'm interested. You know?
I saw a funny meme where they were comparing Wonka's new outfit to Gonzo in the Muppet Christmas Carol, and it's pretty identical.
I see it now. Yeah,
pretty identical.
It's pretty similar. It's pretty similar. Mm-hmm. Has to be said. Well, we'll talk about Wonka. Technically, I guess you could say is kind of a Christmas movie, so we can get into it a little bit next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, which is the last one of the year, we're going to be predominantly talking about Christmas themed movies. So naturally, the two main classics, Die Hard and A Muppet Christmas Carol, will be party to that discussion. But I'd like to hear everybody's top 3 Christmas films. Not now, next week. So
YuleTube, we'll call it.
YuleTube. Yeah. Well, Enzo, if you could, when you do the avatar thing for that, if you could have candy canes and whatnot all around it.
Sure, I'll whip it.
Make it very National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Maybe me getting electrocuted by lots of like Christmas lights or something. Something along those. I've got them behind me, so I can maybe stage some kind of photo.
Say no more. You got it, bro. Okay. I'll make you happy.
Well, that's a whole different ball game.
Right,
so, okay. Was there? We talked about before Blue Collar Loser came in. We talked about The Boy and the Heron and Blue Eyed Samurai. Have you watched either of those?
Yes, Blue Eyed Samurai again. Watching my kid. And animation is fantastic. Loved it.
Have you watched the whole first season?
Oh yeah.
Out of 10, what would you give it?
I'd probably go with like, I guess 8 out of 10. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna watch it this week.
It's worth a watch for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll give you my views.
You know, another time where they had a main female character, and you know, you can write a badass female character if you write her well. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Has anybody else seen anything else new or old this week?
Finally watched. I think Leroy mentioned it in the comments, but I finally watched Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oh yeah. So how many wee breaks did you need during the movie? Okay, cool. Well,
my mother needed 1 or 2.
Yeah, you're not over 50 yet, man. So you know.
Yeah. But I gotta say the movie was good. I liked the soundtrack. Like when it first started, it's like a cool it's not like it's kind of more contemporary kind of marching music with guitars and drums. But like by like the second, third hour of the movie, it's like, please stop with the music. It's so repetitive and monotonous. And please stop. Please, let's hear something else. But yeah, I thought other than that, the movie was pretty good.
I mean, I don't think he's been nominated, but I personally wouldn't have nominated DiCaprio for Best Actor for this role. He's good, but just because he does this kind of Marlon Brando thing the whole way through the film.
It's a famous Red Letter Media joke where they said, Leonardo DiCaprio only excels as an actor when he's screaming or, playing, someone with mental intelligence deficiencies of some kind.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Wake up, mama.
Gilbert.
Yeah. But I mean, in this movie, he's doing both. He's screaming and playing a dim-witted type of person. So,
if you read up
for Wolf of Wall Street,
that's one of his best performances. Without a doubt. Yeah.
He does a lot of screaming.
Yeah, I mean,
and a lot of coke and a lot of horse. I love it.
It's entirely possible that pharmaceuticals were consumed during the.
Yeah,
probably encouraged. Probably encouraged.
there's that scene where you know, they go to that house. He's got like a party at a house, and he's the girl, and the house is just full of all these young, gorgeous people in bikinis and whatever. And I don't know if this was ever true or something, but the night after he won the Oscar for the bear rape movie,
Revenant,
right?
That's a much better title though. What you came up with.
It's funny that
rape movie.
The opening 20 minutes of The Revenant, that one long continual shot, is amazing. But after that, the whole film just left me feeling cold and wanting to get into the warm, which I guess was the idea.
Especially because it came out for me. It came out in January too. So I'm in New York. I go outside. It's like 2 degrees outside. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, it gets all super cold. I like to like turn off the heater and open the windows and like put on a movie like that and like watch it under a blanket, you know.
But there was a story going around that he had like an after party at the after the Oscars when he won his award, and you guys will know if you heard about this. And it was supposed to be DiCaprio and like 40 models at his house. Now, I'm a man with some degree of energy, even at this age, but 40 models would challenge me unless they're all of the bisex persuasion.
Well, he had some substance, had some help here, you know.
These are all untrue rumors, because the truth is, I think Leonardo DiCaprio and Lucas Haas have been a secret couple for a decade or longer.
Yeah,
my theory is that him and Lucas Haas are actually boyfriend and have been for some time. And all the models and stuff are like a magician's distraction. But this is all alleged and my theory.
Fuck that.
That sounds like another topic for a comical stream, very much in line with our Napoleon review next Monday. 1990.
No, I mean,
Napoleon.
We might get a cease and desist for that stream. So I don't know.
Yeah, we'll do that. Quite possibly.
Actually, so I wanted to ask you this, Lance, because I did super chat to Drinker Muller about this when Killers of the Flower Moon. Do you ever? I can ask everybody here actually. Do you ever feel like sometimes, like when you review something, if you have like a connection to the film, like for me, I have like an unconscious bias for stuff like Dance with Wolves or Flower Moon because my father was Native American, and I've been on reservations. So like a film like Dance with Wolves or Flower Moon hit me different than say somebody who's not Native. And so like I could see the Drinker's criticisms, but like I would give it a 10 out of 10 because like the scene with like, hey, like a woman's dying in the owl. I was like, hey mom, remember on the res where they would have these superstitions about owls and deaths and stuff, and the fact that Leonardo DiCaprio was actually learning how to speak their language, I give him more points for that because of how authentic it felt,
Yeah. Okay, so to shorten that very long question that you just put to me, the short version of that question is: do you give a film a higher rating or higher praise because you're personally connected to the events in the film in question, or in some way connected to the material? Okay, so I'm trying to think of an example of where maybe I've done that with my Danish heritage, maybe. I mean, I thought the season 1 of The Killing, I don't know if you guys ever watched that, which was a Danish detective show. It was remade for American audiences. The remake was rubbish, but it's all Who Killed Hannah Larson is kind of and every episode ends on this massive cliffhanger. And for me, it took that kind of murder mystery detective style show where the whole season is who killed this person, and the Murder One was a show an American show that did that really well. Jason Gedrick was the guy who ultimately was the sort of the villain, or was the whole debate. I really thought that show was amazing, and it came out right after my dad died, and my dad was a huge crime genre guy, and all that Nordic noir, all the Scandinavian stuff all started invading Western television right after he died. So he missed all of this stuff, which was a real shame. I rated that highly, and I was recommending it to absolutely everyone. I still think it's really good. But I probably could say that my influence of it being a Danish show may be colored my judgment, because it is a great show. Maybe I wanted to rate it more highly because I wanted to put Denmark on the map.
Yeah.
So that's the only example I can think of. Generally, I like we talked about Platform 7, which has got one of my friends in it, Phil Davis. He's been on the channel. I've interviewed him, and he's a fantastic actor in absolutely everything he's in. But I didn't think his storyline and his character was great, but I just didn't think that the show was that good.
Yeah.
And we talked about it earlier on why. So I tend not to. I think staying impartial is really important. Two friends of mine set up a YouTube channel that they're not running it anymore. I won't say the name of it. And they were both actors, and they started off doing film reviews, and all their film reviews were proper naff. And the reason was because they didn't want to say anything bad about any of the films they're reviewing because they were both jobbing actors, and obviously they didn't want to offend anyone in the industry connected to those films who might therefore then not give them a job. And I called him out on that, and I said, mate, you can't do reviews on that basis. Your reviews are always going to be weak and rubbish because I think they did a review of the female Ghostbusters movie, and it was like a really, that's an indefensible movie in my opinion.
Yeah, great.
So yeah, anyway, so that's an example of somebody else kind of failing to meet that metal. I think one of the good things about Drinker is that, I mean, even though he's got a film in production now, is that he just doesn't give a damn about what people think of him on all sides of the coin, and he won't lean into politics either with his reviews, and that's what makes them so credible, plus the fact that they're incredibly intelligent and well observed. So yeah, is that a sufficient answer?
Yeah, no, that's why I asked you guys, because I mean, like I said, with Schindler's List, some people could say it's the best movie ever made, but I can see some people that may have grandparents that were Holocaust survivors saying this movie is shit, I'm not going to watch it because of what it covers.
Right.
That's what I said. As my channel, like I just hit 2,000 this week. Dark Hour hit 3,000. I'm trying to get better at reviewing stuff, but I mean, I admit, as somebody who was born on a reservation, if I see a film where I'm seeing Indians getting slaughtered, I may give the film a 10 out of 10 because I'm like, this is real. But someone may say, it's kind of a crappy movie, but it's hard because I'm so personal to it. You know what I mean? To not be unbiased.
Yeah. What did you think of Son of Morning Star? Did you ever see that? It's like a TV movie about the Battle of Little Bighorn, and I'm surprised that no one's done a big budget movie about the Battle of Little Bighorn yet.
I'll put it to my list now. I never heard of it. I'll write it down.
It's the whole movie's on YouTube. It stars Gary, what's his name, who played the lead in that TV show, The Night Caller.
Gary Cole.
Gary Cole, thank you. A friend of mine's directed him in a movie.
So ready for trivia, dude. I'm just like,
dude, you're already gearing up for the quiz next week. Blue Collar, are you coming on that quiz?
Depends on how many people are on. I know it's going to be a big crowd.
I think we might have room for one more. So I'll keep you at the front of the queue, man. Nice. If not, you can lead the charge in the chat. But just for those people watching, the chat team is not eligible for the grand prize of 1 million poons.
No. Did you say 1 million poons?
Yeah, I'm just
hell.
1 million poon tags.
1 million poons.
Excuse me.
1 million pounds.
Excuse me. What?
1 million pounds. Yes. So
what's that prize again? No,
well, there's a potential prize of 1 million pounds to the winning team.
Pounds. That's different from poons.
Poons.
That'd be awesome.
Well,
poons is that in dollars?
Form of money.
Sounds like a nightmare. Million poons. It's like one of those things. Like, no, your eyes are bigger than your stomach. Northern English bastard.
That's that language comes from, when you've been with someone for a long time in a relationship and you develop your own language and you have funny ways of saying things. Me and my ex-partner used to say to each other, yes, but you are rather strange, as in you are rather strange. And I used to say that to her all the time. I said, yeah, but you're a little bit strange, aren't you, darling? And it was just one of these kind of funny banter things that we had back and forth. Oh man, if I talk about that, it's going to make me miss her like crazy. But what can you do? Those days are gone. On a more positive note, I have hit 2,500 subscribers, guys. I'm now
Nice.
at 2,500.
Oh, congratulations.
66, trying to get to 3K before the new year. Don't know if I'll make that. Maybe we'll see. But those people watching do help by shouting out. I'm going to mention a few things that I've got coming up as we're coming up to the 2-hour mark, and then I'm going to let my guests ramble on about their stuff as well. I have booked one more interview before the end of the year. One more industry interview. I've got 3 lined up for January, waiting for a couple of people to confirm dates, but I'm just going to get this guy's IMDb page up because you won't know him by name. I've got a great actor coming in to do an interview. Now, he's coming in the same day as the Napoleon stream, and I'm interviewing him in the afternoon at 4:00. So UK time. So it's going to be sort of early morning, very early morning if you're in the LA area, or, you know, morning if you're on the East Coast. But I'm interviewing Tim Bentic. Now, he has been in absolutely loads of stuff in the UK, but he was in a couple of big movies, including North Sea Hijack with the late Roger Moore. He's also been on things like Ted Lasso recently. He's done a lot of voiceover work, and there's a radio show called The Archers in the UK, which is a massive, massive show over here. And he was one of the voices of David Archer in that show for absolutely yonks. I met him not a million moons ago, and he was attached to do one of my films. Got on really well with him. His wife is a hat designer, and he's going to come on and just talk about his whole career. He's been in the business for like nearly 50 years. So a really long time. And if you want to look at his credits on IMDb, I'll drop the link in the chat. So he's going to be coming on, I think 4:00 on the Monday next week. Yeah, thank you, Smilex. Solid character actor, Tim is indeed. And bless him, he's been quite ill lately. So I was glad that he was still up for it. 173 acting credits on IMDb. Recently in a couple of episodes of The Crown. He's also in The Reckoning, which is a new thing. Lord of the Rings, Gollum. Yeah, that's he's one of the.
Sorry, man.
Well, that's a video game, mate, not the new TV show.
No, but I've been hearing bad things about that game. I've seen the clips. It's like,
God.
I hope he got paid really well for it, though.
He's also done Warhammer 40K, some other. He's done quite a few video games.
Video games are what pay nowadays for the voice acting.
Yeah, he's done a Lego superheroes one. So The Last Post is a very good drama show. He's also done 2 episodes of Doctor Who. He's been in a video game of Vikings. The man has done a lot of roles. So if you've got questions for him, especially those of you who are interested in the video game arena and how voiceover work for that comes about, he's done a lot. He's done Total War, Rome. You know, there's loads of video game credits on here. In fact, I probably need to study this in preparation because I'm more familiar with his film and television work. But yeah, lots of credits, guys. So now I don't know if any of the 3 of you are available at that random earlier time.
Maybe.
But I do need a co-host for that interview. So if one of you are free, let me know and you can come on.
Sure thing.
You just need to watch at least 172 of it.
You need to beat all the video games before Thursday.
Yeah. So Tim Bentic's on next week. That'll be probably my last industry interview this year. I have also then on the Monday evening, of course, we are reviewing this film in incredible detail. We've got a couple of guests of the movie coming on. The military advisor of the 1996 Napoleon will be coming on the stream. We've also got the American producer coming on the stream as well. We couldn't get Martin Weir, unfortunately, because he's dead. So he wasn't
tragic
available.
overdose as well.
Yeah, it was very tragic. His stunt double Danny DeVito was refused an interview, sadly. But we will be talking about this film at length in all seriousness. And if you've seen the film, this is Spinal Tap. That will give you some idea of what to expect. We'll be talking about all the interesting casting choices. One of the first appearances of The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, as Wellington. So it's going to be a really interesting and fun stream. And then we've got the last Nielsen ratings on the Tuesday night. I might do some kind of show between Christmas and New Year. I might even do a stream on Christmas Day, actually, in the evening. Because at the moment, my Christmas Day is looking pretty shit.
Yeah,
but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Depends whether Blue Collar's helicopter comes to pick me up or not. So,
I'm saving up for it.
You've got LA Confidential on in a few hours time.
Yeah, I just looked up. There's a LA Confidential cocktail. I have to go buy the ingredients.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, because is this a weekly thing that you're doing booze with your review?
Oh, definitely, yeah. You know, like
I mean, it's a daily thing with him.
It's a regular thing with his reviews.
you do want to live to see your son get married and things of this nature, don't you? I mean, that's quite important. I would have thought.
You practically replaced your blood with alcohol now, so you need it to survive.
Well, I can make the joke. It's the Indian blood in me. That's why, because the stuff my dad could do with alcohol, he put me under the table.
Well, look, while I turn off my camera, and I'm definitely not dashing for a wee, but I might be. Stupenzo, tell us what you've got coming up and make it last at least 60 seconds.
No, I can do that. Yeah, and I mean, as far as like Native Americans, I thought Native Americans were known for like not handling their liquor very well. Is that a misconception?
No, they drink a lot. They build it with tolerance. So.
Oh,
I thought they were high most of the time, though.
Well, it depends on yeah, that's true. So.
All right. Enough of that. I got Godzilla coming up. The Godzilla Christmas stream. I'm streaming Christmas evening, Texas time. It's going to be another long, thorough, insanely over the top, detailed, fun stream where we're going to talk about all the Godzilla movies and shows and what have yous and everything we can think of, and just talk about Godzilla for 6 to 8 hours. Sounds like a great Christmas evening, and I'm getting everything ready for that. And then
is that on Christmas Day?
Christmas
night,
dude, Christmas night, my time.
Dude, count me in for that. I'll come on for part of that.
I know Adam Gray is very interested, and from B-roll stage, and then I think Words of Paradise. Can't remember his what's his actual moniker. He's been on Cannoli's stream a few times. He's a big Godzilla fan. He's expressed interest, and I know Chris is watching a bunch of these old movies, and so am I.
That's what I like Smilex for.
Yeah, dude, it's good stuff. And then I got the Ginger Dead Man coming out Wednesday tomorrow. Me and Gord King watched that. That'll be another one that is like the full movie, basically, not edited. But what's funny was I tried to make that one. I recorded that one to be, lazy. Don't have to edit it too much. Well, it turns out that I don't know, I guess I needed to restart my computer before I recorded and close some tabs. Cause the video part of the file was all jacked up and frozen and lagging. So I had to painstakingly download the actual movie, put it on top and keep it in sync, throughout the whole movie. It was way more of a pain in the butt than it needed to be.
Damn.
Yeah.
So
I feel
all for a stupid Gary Busey movie.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I got to be on. I'm going to be on Blue Eye Samurai stream on Thursday for Diabolical Souls channel with Amateur Analyst.
Sounds good.
And wherever else the wind takes me. And then we got the trivia and stuff is this weekend or next week.
The movie quiz is Sunday the 17th.
This Sunday, right? Yeah. So I'm excited for that.
So. And we've got a special rules video that will be going through. Funnily enough, actually, I have one of the older ones because, of course, this quiz normally takes place at my house. And Gary Bolter will be on the stream, but I'll give you a quick preview of a video he made for me previously for one of my video quizzes. Here you go.
A very warm good afternoon to each and every one of you. I'm Gary Bolter, the most legendary of Lance's Australian friends from down under. Really? Oh, sorry, I've just been told some rather unexpected news. I have been dethroned, and demoted as iconic Australian film director and great friend of Ben Hall. Ha! What a legend. Matthew Holmes is in town and has now taken my place. Shit. For those...
That was the intro for the quiz that we did at my house, especially for Matthew Holmes, who was staying with me for the summer. And so I did the annual Christmas quiz that I normally do at my house took place in the summer so that Matthew could take part. And we even had a clip from one of his movies, and that was part of Gary's intro. Gary is doing the intro and the rules for the quiz. When
I was very excited, and in hindsight, I realized what an honor it was to be on that first stream on your channel, The Thing, where I had Gary was on, and I didn't realize like he's doing all these cool videos for you, man. The guy's a legend.
He's a great guy, and it's funny. He suddenly said to me, "Hey, who's doing all these cool avatars for you?" And I said, "Oh, that's my Stupenzo 9000 app."
All right.
And he said, "Oh, that's good." He said, "That's good. That's less work for the Gary 9000 app."
Of course.
Yeah, I try to spread the love, you know. So yeah, fantastic. Mr. Bastard, have you got anything coming up that hasn't been mentioned that these guys are already doing with you?
Well, I'm doing a Christmas Crappers review, Christmas with the Cranks. It's a downright awful Christmas film. I hate it, and I need a bad review to mostly full of laughs.
Is that the one with Jamie Lee Curtis?
Yeah.
Yes, and Tim Allen.
I get them all confused, but yes, that is.
She's in a bikini one scene.
What's the movie called again?
Christmas with the Cranks. Yeah. And it's based on a book written by John Grisham. Yes, that's John Grisham.
Is it not set in a Louisiana courtroom when everyone's sweaty and hot?
No, it's just a couple who want to skip Christmas because their daughter's not going to be there. Yeah, and they want to avoid the stress, and all the neighbours keep harassing and bullying them until they fucking comply and start celebrating Christmas with everyone. It's terrible. It's awful. I hate it.
Well, I feel that we're missing out on an opportunity for a cheap laugh here by not checking out some of the reviews on IMDb.
Oh.
So here it is.
Yep.
Christmas with the Cranks. I mean, that looks like a Hallmark poster, first of all.
Yeah, this is a common thing in the early 2000s. The white background poster. You see that also a lot in the late 90s. I don't know. Bad clip art.
Jamie Lee Curtis. Is that her on the right?
Yeah. Yeah. She still looks good in it as well. There's a scene where she goes on a sunbed, and yeah, she's still got a good.
I'm already googling it, Luke.
There's 326 user reviews. Let's look at some of the headlines. Better than average. The first half of the movie is much better than the second half. What a great! Must have taken them ages to think of that heading. Light-hearted fun. I love this Christmas film. That's clearly not Luke's review. Solid Christmas comedy. The Grinch did not steal Christmas. Ho, ho, ha, ha. Now I have a machine gun. Goes against the grain for all the right reasons. Well, 10 out of 10 from that person. Pretty funny, but only 6 out of 10. Get exactly what you expect. Interesting. Is this on Netflix? Where is this? Here's Luke. Here's your one. A waste of time. 3 out of 10.
Where is what is the basic plot of this movie again?
It's basically a couple who just wants to skip Christmas for the year, avoid the stress, and the fact that their daughters. Yeah.
So which was the one where the two neighbors are having is that Deck the Halls?
I think that's Deck the Halls.
That's the one where like the neighbors are having like I related to that one growing up, but yeah, I know Christmas with the Cranks. It's like vacation.
Yeah.
they tell their daughter like not to visit this year, and all this nonsense. Yeah,
this is a summary of the plot here. That movie where Tim Allen wears a Speedo, tackles a child, gets arrested, and abuses a cat.
So just Tim Allen, basically.
Why is bullying funny? 2 out of 10. It's got a really low review, so I feel like there must be because there's lots of like 10s and 9s and 8s here. Spirit of Christmas is missed. 4 out of 10. Very underrated and underappreciated. 8 out of 10. Oh, 1 out of 10. Do we really want people, including our children, seeing a movie like this? Hang on, I'll go and read this one out. This sounds fun. What kind of Christmas movie is this? Christmas with the Cranks is not jolly, whimsical, wholesome, or humorous like typical American Christmas films, but a wretched, loathsome comedy capitalizing on the things that the holiday season isn't about, such as competition, self-centeredness, cruelty, and worst of all, conformity.
Yeah, he's fucking got a point, this guy. That's what pissed me off. Right, I love Christmas. I do, but if I want to... But these people are basically minding their own business, and they've got a whole neighborhood terrorizing them. It's pretty fucking horrible.
Read this whole thing.
Oh my God. This is a good section. The American Christmas movie falls into 3 possible categories: the great, the good, and the bad. I think most films fall into those categories. Like most films in specific genres, although it's quickly shortening to 2, the good and the bad, with the emphasis on the bad. Christmas classics are those such as A Christmas Story, It's a Wonderful Life, White Christmas. Mate, you missed out the Muppet Christmas Carol, so now I'm not so keen.
I'll be doing that just before Christmas, because I want to do, because it's got a great message and it seems perfect to do right up, maybe on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve. Try to see if I can get it done then.
This reviewer is not a fan of Jack Frost, a movie that I've never watched because it looked too creepy.
Are you talking about the Michael Keaton one or the stupid straight-to-video slasher film, Jack Frost?
No, I think the Michael Keaton one where Dad turns into a scary snowman. Isn't that that's the Michael Keaton one, right?
I'm Jack Frost.
It's certainly doesn't sound like a lot of fun, that movie. Reading that review,
no, it wasn't.
Depressing.
Did they eventually learn the magic of Christmas, and they should have like celebrated Christmas? Do they celebrate extra hard in the last few hours of Christmas?
Yeah,
they eventually give in. They eventually give in, and it's like, and it just pissed me off.
Decorations right now. And invite the kids over and have a Christmas goose.
Yeah. They kind of have no choice because their daughter unexpectedly comes back from the Peace Corps, so then the neighbours do help, but it doesn't excuse what they're doing. They're still dicks. Wow. Dan Aykroyd's like a big fucking asshole in it, but yeah.
Well, I remember Tim Allen being very pink and shirtless in one scene of the movie. But also we were talking about yesterday, A Christmas Karen, and I didn't realize that would upset y'all so much. Such vitriol coming out of you guys.
Is that a movie, A Christmas Karen?
Yes. Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday on Dork Side. It's a stupid movie.
It's an interesting title.
It's exactly what you think it is. Trust me, it's totally crazy. Can't believe people make these movies.
Is it about an annoying white woman in a car park shouting
a Scrooge? Yes, a Christmas Carol Scrooge, but she's a whiny lady who complains at the restaurants and tries to shut down the little girl's lemonade stand and all that. It's insane.
Sounds like a movie the fucking gang from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia would make. That's they did, didn't they, with a Lethal Weapon sequel? It's like, what?
Yeah.
So, Northern Bastard, after that 20-minute segue, what else have you got?
Anything else?
Anything else?
Yeah, if I can get to see Godzilla -1, I might do a first impressions on it. But after that, definitely Muppets Christmas Carol. I've got most of it written out. I just need to write down Michael Caine's performance and a little bit of an overall, and that's it.
Well, I haven't seen Godzilla -1 yet. It is on our scrolling thing there.
Try to watch it before Christmas, Lance.
Yeah, is it? Why is it a Christmas movie?
No, because I will probably talk about it in detail on Christmas.
Well, I like you. I wanted to kind of watch all the old. I'm
loving them. They're so
Godzilla
silly.
movies.
Some of them are great, and some of them are silly, and some of them they all have cool elements to them. You know.
Well, they had a wonderful you know, that there was a wonderful channel which I mysteriously can't find now on the net where you could watch all these old films. It's disappeared. Otherwise, I would be.
I found a
watching
few
them.
because I'm looking for the dubbed versions of these Godzilla movies because, like, yeah, I can easily watch the Japanese ones. But some of them, I don't need to watch Godzilla versus Hedorah the Smog Monster in Japanese. I can watch that one with the American dub, the one where he's fighting the pollution monster.
Yeah.
It's the 1970s one where it's all about like, climate, pollution, bro. Everyone's like a hippie and singing songs, and everyone just wants to do bonfire parties. Those kind of silly 70s and 60s Godzilla movies have their own quaintness to them.
Before we go, I'm going to give the Prince Charles Cinema a shout out. So this is a small cinema. It used to be a Canon cinema in Leicester Square, which is around the corner from where all the premieres are. And it shows a lot of older films. And as you can see, showing Wednesday, so that's tomorrow, Star Wars A New Hope at 11:45 a.m. You've got It's a Wonderful Life, Home Alone, Die Hard.
Nice.
They show Die Hard every year in 4K. Dial Code Santa Claus, aka Deadly Games. I'm not familiar with that film, but it sounds interesting. French, I think. The Godfather, obviously a Christmas movie. And then you can see the full Christmas lineup is much more extensive than that. But they do a Bond season every year as well. Check it out. Look, Friday the 15th of December, 9 p.m. Die Hard sold out already.
Rad.
And Home Alone, 23rd of December, already sold out.
Dude, you ever talk about Home Alone? How like he goes to the grocery store and gets $19 worth of groceries, and they did the math and they realized like that same receipt would be like $77 now. And then the same thing with like the $122 worth of pizza. That's like worth like $800 a pizza probably nowadays in this economy.
Damn.
Very sad.
These are all the screenings of Muppet Christmas Carol, and these are sing-along performances.
Yeah.
So they have the text of all the songs on screen. And there's also people come dressed as Muppets, although in London that's fairly common anyway. So yeah, Taxi Driver, perhaps not a Christmas movie, but Love Actually.
Love Actually is definitely Christmas because it counts down to Christmas.
Now is look at this. So they're screening Rebel Moon this week in 70 mil.
Huh? I'd be curious to see that.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm gonna have to see that on the big screen, especially if it's in 70 mil, because you don't get to see many films in 70 mil these days.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that Zack Snyder shot that two-parter. I like the look of the trailer. I think it looks good.
Definitely,
it looks good. I mean, most movies look good nowadays.
Look at this, look at this, guys. All three Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that's to me like a Christmas thing right there. Christmas marathon for sure.
Look at that, sold out 9 p.m. Yeah, man, I watch it every Christmas. But I wouldn't mind doing an epic cinema. I'd love to take a kid to see them who's never seen them.
I did that
12
last
hours
year.
in the cinema. Fucking hell, man.
Yeah, we went over the Hobbit meal you get when you go to the Alamo Drafthouse special extended screening. They give you 11 meals. They all sound banger. They all sound awesome.
Look at this, The Great Escape's on. I've never seen that. I've never seen that on the big screen. I might have to go and see that.
Dude, I gotta say I like Home Alone 2 more than Part 1. I think everyone does, right?
Master and Commander, one of Drinker's favorites there. Scrooged, which I took a load of people to see. I thought that film was very unfunny, I have to say.
I like it.
I mean, it's all right, but look, there we go. Godzilla -1. So they've got that during the kind of Christmas break, and then there's Return of the Jedi before the new year, and then we're going into the next Star Wars film. So they're going to do the whole lot. Yeah, Goodfellas. You got screening of First Blood there.
First Blood's a Christmas movie, isn't it? Yeah.
They Live, Jurassic Park, Blade Runner. I think both Blade Runner films. Magnificent Seven, the original. Seven Samurai, which is the original Magnificent Seven. Yeah. So, man, there's a lot of stuff.
The Phantom Thread. Do you ever watch that one, Lance?
I don't think I've seen that.
Scroll up a little bit. I mean, I'm not saying go see it in the theater, obviously, but P.T. Anderson's Daniel Day-Lewis movie.
Yeah,
about the
I have.
dress designer. That was a cool one. I liked that one a lot. It was weird.
It's got Leslie Manville
Right,
in it,
right.
who's one of my favorite actresses, and she left me ever such a nice message on my aunt's phone.
That
once.
is the coolest and weirdest date movie you could ever see, dude. Check it out.
I tell you what, you don't want to take a date. I got taken by my date, who was this French lady. We went out on a couple of dates back in the early 2000s. She said, "Oh, we've got to see this new French film that's coming out." And I said, "Okay, cool. Who's in it?" She said, "Vincent Cassel." And I'm like, "Oh, brilliant. I'm a massive Vincent Cassel fan. Let's go and watch it." And it's this film called Irreversible. Have any of you seen it?
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Fucking hell.
That is not a date film. That is not a date
That's
film.
not even a popcorn
Well, it
film.
depends who you're dating. Depends who you're dating.
There's an assault scene in that movie that puts the potting shed sequence in Scum. Makes that look like a children's
the most
birthday
brutal.
party.
And Monica Bellucci's so amazing and beautiful, but like the most brutal grape scene ever put to film is in that movie, and the most brutal head bashing
with a fire extinguisher. Yeah.
That was one of those things I saw that scene like virally, like on like a web video, and I thought it was real. I was like, "What the hell is this?" And I found out from a movie. I was like, "Oh my god!"
It looked so.
That was a decade ago, you know.
I mean, that's maybe we should do a stream about it. But man.
Yeah, all of Gaspar Noé's movies, Climax, that was amazing, awesome horror movie. I definitely recommend that if you haven't seen that one, Lance. And then, Enter the Void. Climax was great. Climax is a movie about.
I've seen Enter the Void. I actually saw it at that cinema.
Enter the Void makes you feel sick to your stomach, but it's so good, you know.
Yeah,
like it makes you feel sick on multiple levels. Like you're haunted sick, you know, and then also like you're feeling like actual dizzy, like sick, you know.
What was the one that you recommended before that?
Climax is a dance school in France in the 80s, and they have their last day, and they're all celebrating, and they're all snowed in from a blizzard, and someone doses the punch with a gargantuan dose of LSD, and it just descends into utter chaos and madness from there. And it's literally a horror film. So crazy.
Right.
The same thing with Irreversible. It's like not really a date movie unless you're dating a psycho.
Yeah. No. What's worse though, this right, Irreversible or Last House on the Left, uncut.
Oh, Last House on the Left is a pretty. That's a long time since I've seen that, but that's a pretty horrendous.
I have to say, at least Irreversible has like the wow, how did they make this type technical like feat to it? You know, it doesn't look as grungy and as low budget as Last House on the Left, which makes it more Last House on the Left more weird and disturbing, I think.
Yeah, plus they are just getting like raped. They're getting like, hacked up and everything, stabbed. It's not a nice watch.
It's pretty.
It really
bad.
isn't.
No, that film was banned in the UK for quite some time.
It's actually on YouTube as well, but I think they cut it down because it doesn't look as brutal. At least those scenes don't, anyway.
Has Tommy Wiseau made a new movie?
Yeah, something Killer Shark, big bad shark or something.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Well, they've got
why? Yeah, okay, now I gotta watch that.
They've got a screening of it here with him.
Big Shark, that's what it's called. Hell yeah.
Yeah, with Tommy Wiseau. He's done several screenings here. Yeah, you've got to get there 30 minutes early if you want to meet Tommy before the film starts. I'm quite happy not to meet him. What's this film about? Is it like a Jaws kind of movie or three firefighters?
Dude, you know, it's literally about a big shark. It's stupid.
Must save New Orleans from a gigantic shock. Can New Orleans survive?
Why are you being like this towards my movie?
It should say a gigantic, poorly rendered CGI shark. That's what. Right. That's kind of the whole appeal to it. Again, it's this whole like making a bad movie on purpose.
Yeah,
it's funnier when it's not done deliberately.
It's better when someone tried and they just came up short, and you had like A for effort. Those types of bad movies, so bad it's good.
That's
so
why
bad it's bad on purpose, just so people can only watch it ironically. I don't.
That's why I have a soft spot for Miami Connection, because the guy had no fucking skill in movie making, but he's definitely trying.
There's a passion.
He was trying to promote his what martial art was King doing anyway? I forgot now. But he was trying to promote it. That's all he was trying to do. He got his friends together, and it's a bad movie. The dialogue is bad. The story is all over the place, and it's just fight scenes. But there is a good chemistry between the cast, even though they aren't very good actors. But
well, but like the room is Tommy Wiseau was trying, but this whole new movie is like, oh, I'm famous for being a bad director. There's the idea that he was like money laundering or doing some kind of gangster.
There is more of a narcissism to Tommy Wiseau as well. Same thing for Neil Breen, because he's always inserting himself into these roles where he gets to get on with some fucking hot women way out of his league.
Neil Breen, oh my god,
Neil Breen's a whole nother beast, but
Neil
Breen volume of movies he's made.
Red Letter Media did such a brilliant stream about him, and the thing that made me really laugh was because he sells all these sort of DVDs about how to be a filmmaker, and he's the last person that should be teaching anyone how to do that.
Well, back to sorry, go ahead.
No, just the one thing I wanted to mention was, I don't know if you've seen it. It cuts to that shot of, because he says, "Oh, I've had all these fantastic premieres," and he cuts to a shot of a premiere in France, and it's the last night of that film festival in France where loads of people are at.
Yeah,
it's not his premiere. It's just a festival. It's just a festival where one of his films happened to be on.
Yeah.
I think in a kind of Tommy Wiseau capacity, as in they thought it was naff, so they'd screen it.
Don't touch
the thing with why Kim, there's no narcissism.
What's that?
I'll say don't
touch
your
Oh, sorry.
Take this.
So I touched my mic again. Shit, sorry about that.
Can you stop scratching your balls while you're talking?
I think I got crabs.
Do you think like Tommy Wiseau and these crazy directors like Neil Breen and the guy who did Birdemic, like, do you think that they're just like, ironically just being funny, like high concept comedy, or do you think they're legit?
I don't see it. I don't see it. I think they're insane.
Okay.
I think with Neil Breen, I'm not sure where he's from.
Neil Breen strikes me as insane.
He's clearly from some small town in America where he's the only filmmaker in that town, and that's a good job to have in order to attract all the hot women that are in that town. And the women aren't that hot; they just look like maybe the hottest mum that was at the school gates that when Neil Breen was handing out his leaflets about, "Do you want to be in my movie?"
Slim pickings,
and he does have a pretty creepy look. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he is in fact an alien who crashed a ship here,
Men in Black,
and kind of spawned into a human and has a partly demented alien brain, and he thinks he's a filmmaker. He
does have these like vacant eyes that seem strange.
I mean,
like Mark Zuckerberg, Mark Zuckerberg eyes, like
I can't do
like
that.
A flesh puppet.
There's no emotion in his acting as well. It's just like this monotone delivery. Like, I can't believe you committed suicide. I can't. It's what's he fucking doing?
It's funny because his Wikipedia page says he has written, directed, independently produced, and starred in 6 theatrical feature films, and that's the first thing he says on the beginning of all of his DVDs. And I've got a Wikipedia page, and I don't even know how it started, but I did an interview on radio in America, and it popped up about a week later. So and then there was loads of stuff on it. It was quite a long interview, and I sort of talked about quite a lot of personal stuff, and I didn't really think anybody would be that interested. And there was all this stuff about it was all on there, and I was like, fuck shit. So I had to contact Wikipedia and get them to take loads of it off, which took ages to sort out. But he's I like his filmography. So I was going to end the stream, but this is really entertaining. So we'll stay on for we'll stay on for a little bit long. Look at this. So he's created his own. This is the sort of thing you get on like Kevin Bacon's page or something.
Jesus.
But his filmography,
cinematic universe,
and it's like these are the films and these are all the roles I've done in them. where you can see that I'm. And on these 3, I wasn't the DOP, but after that, I was, because after that, no DOP would work with me.
Right.
But why
It's
would
like
you
the same thing with musicians. You see that a lot, where like guys are like one-man bands all the time, and usually that means that they just can't work well with others.
Why would you create a chart that flags up like the 7 jobs you've done on all of your movies, and then in notes also casting, makeup, hair, production manager, set designer, wardrobe, props, lighting design, special effects, stunt coordinator, aerial rigging, aerial spelled incorrectly, special makeup effects, legal accounting, administration, craft services, location, and sound editing.
So basically, like, he's getting credit for like wearing clothes, eating, driving there, like just like things that he did. He's like, today there's craft services. There it is. I put on clothes. That's my wardrobe for the day.
Do you think if you go to a Neil Breen set, it's like that Michael Keaton film Multiplicity, and there are like 7 Neil Breen clones?
That would be the ultimate twist. There's like 20 Neil Breens, and they're all like clones. You go to his house for the first time, you realize there's like a dozen of them. Oh my god! Holy shit! You're blowing my mind, Lance.
I keep expecting Adam West to pop up saying, "You're a ridiculous man."
I don't think he picked this picture though. I think somebody hacked his Wikipedia page.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
shit, my eyes are closed,
or something. You know, it's gotta be like some kind of Andy Kaufman level humor he's going for. There's no way you picked that for your photo.
Do you think? Do you think that's a shot of him being pleasured by one of his co-stars?
No, that's him coming up with an idea for his next movie. You know, like right now.
I'm a space Jesus again. Yeah, he's always that type, isn't he? Like he's the space Jesus type protagonist or some shit. But the narcissism is unreal.
Let's look at his latest. Film. And look, filmmaking is difficult, so I don't want to make it seem like I'm being down on an indie filmmaker. But this, look up the videos of this, guys, and you'll see where we're coming from. It's not our fault that he is a sort of amusing entertainment. So that's been said.
I respect his enthusiasm. He's just in over his head a lot. That's it.
Yeah, he's like the Charles. We were talking about Charles Band last week, who did Ginger Dead Man and a bunch of other movies. Like you interviewed the guy from Doll Man, but he actually has like a crew who know what they're doing. And they do the best they can with their limited budgets and their limited effects. But
Charles Band has made some great B-movie.
He's great. He's legendary.
Are fun. You know, you can
Neil
watch.
Breen is like, almost like insane, like Psycho Man. You know, I don't know.
So, this is interesting. I'm just looking at the cast list, and it's funny that of the cast list, Neil Breen is the only one with his own Wikipedia page.
Right.
And then if you look at the rest of the list, there's quite a lot of females on here. Judy Lay, interesting name. Gwendolyn Brown, Amy Solomon, Nicole Butler, Leslie McKinney as the police chief, Jennifer Estrella as the lady in white, and so on. So this is his latest film. We can see some of the wreaths on the poster. Let's see where they're from. It doesn't enlarge it. That's disappointing. I'm going to have to look really closely at my screen. Swiss International Film Festival selection, Hollywood Reel Film Festival, Hollywood Reel Independent Film Festival, Sci-Fi London Film Festival. Okay, Sci-Fi London Film Festival is a good festival. The real one, those are chain festivals. I could do a whole other stream about chain festivals. Let's have a look at this. Critical response. Craig Jones of MovieWeb gave a negative review of the trailer, saying it's just as shoddy as Breen's previous films, with terrible green screen effects, acting that the average plank of wood would find embarrassing, and a plot of some description. Jones further elaborated that the film's crazy fight scenes, laughably poor line readings, and strange directorial choices make for a film that, no matter how numerous its failings, doesn't promise to be dull. Okay,
well, now that's just mean.
He's saying that the film's not dull because of its ineptitude, effectively.
It's dull because it's dull. Just even more so. You know, it's like
Well, Anton Beitel of Sci-Fi Now gave a negative review of the film, writing it comes with the dissociative, dislocated feeling of a drawn-out dream, or perhaps of a parable of endless interdimensional conflict between good and evil. Brian Kirschgershner, summarizing the film as simply bizarre, abysmal green screen effects, opaque plotting, creative, dissociated dreamlike state that would make David Lynch proud. Well, I mean, that's a compliment, surely.
Yeah.
And somebody else says this is his most baffling film yet.
They get more and more aggressively baffling, the Neil Breen films.
Yeah. Well, has anyone seen this one?
Not this new one. I've seen a handful of them. I know you can watch the bad, whatever the hell it's called. There's a few of them on, internet database and stuff like that.
Has he got an official website?
Some of these movies are harder to find because you can only get them directly from him. There's only like 1,000 DVDs of them out there, so, and most of the people who actually order them are like probably, the Red Letter Media guys and other YouTubers who specialize in this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I had the site had problems as well. People were trying to order them, but it's like it hasn't been properly fucking developed enough to have any orders come through. But that was years ago. That so
because he's literally packaging up the DVDs himself, and like shipping them out and printing the labels, and like mailing it out to you.
I'm pretty sure those were in his credits under the job roles.
Distribution, Neil Breen Industries. Yeah,
I mean, he's working his ass off. I'll give him that.
No, yeah. I mean, he's probably making a living at it, but let's take a look at his official website.
Yeah,
Neil Breen Films LLC, the man, the myth, the movie.
Oh my god!
Oh god!
There's even
one wasn't enough. We needed so.
There's even a section called Breeniverse, and then
those are both him.
But then underneath, yeah, I know that. Well, one of them is him as the creepy serial killer, and the other one.
This is so good. This is so good.
Okay, so underneath here we've got Breeniverse, we got Neil's house and Neil's cars.
I think he's a comedic genius. That's what I'm thinking is happening right here. I think he's like next level.
Okay, he's just been deadpan, isn't he? He's just been deadpan about it.
This is all like an experiment for him, like just to see how far he can get it.
I'm not quite sure what this means, but he's just basically saying that he's allocating all the different parts of his house as locations in his film. So Twisted Pair, the garage is Kale's torture dungeon. I bet it is, Neil. I bet you still got some of those props.
Do you think he coded his own website? Probably, right? He's doing the
Neil's cars. Let's have a look at Neil's cars. The Ferrari.
Wow.
The Ferrari and Double Down. The Rolls
tiny
Royce.
little car. What?
Neil flattened by the Rolls Royce in Fateful Findings. Okay. Yeah. Well, So are these Neil's cars?
Are Ferraris that small? Good Lord.
Guess so.
Or is Neil Breen like 7 feet tall and I didn't know that?
Filmography. I'm kind of curious. Neil Breen's films ranked. Fateful Findings, 4 stars. Double Down, 3 stars. I'm Here Now, 2 stars. Twisted Pair, 1.5, and Pass Through 1. Is there a sliding scale there?
This says Cade, The Tortured Crossing is a 7.4 on IMDb. I don't believe it.
That can't. Is that
and if
true?
If so, that's got to be a joke, right?
Well, I mean, you said that he sells however many thousand DVDs to his Breenites. So his Breenites must go on IMDb and do. Actually, let's check out some of the reviews. I'm keen to see if we can.
Cade does have a 7.4 on IMDb.
Okay, right. Hang on. We're gonna go. We're gonna do a deep dive. I'm enjoying this so much. I'm not gonna go to bed. We're gonna go and we're gonna. I like spotting fake reviews on.
10 out of 10. It broke new ground. It's not every day I write a review. Cade, The Tortured Crossing is a film that defies easy categorization. It is a work of bold, uncompromising vision and one that will challenge and provoke audiences in equal measure. director and lead actor Neil Breen. This is Neil Breen writing this, right? I mean, did he just give his own movie 110 out of 10 reviews?
Well, let's have a look at. This has got 7.4 out of 10, right? There are 698 ratings. So if you click on them, you can see that 73% or 516 of them are 10 out of 10. 11% are 1 out of 10. So that means that the majority of those are probably bots or aliens from Neil's planet.
I won't be surprised if he did it all himself. Fucking hell. He just doesn't sleep anymore.
So a good way of telling if a review is genuine is you go on to Beardworthy's profile. Let's have a look. Okay, so this guy has written other reviews. He's written quite a few.
Just had to make sure that I actually am on IMDb and not some clever clone site. It's tricking me into thinking that IMDb is like,
I mean, he's done several. So this guy, I would say, is a genuine reviewer. IMDb member of 19 years. I mean, it could all be part of a deep layered plot of Breenites to give him a good review. But awful, but I'm really glad I watched it. I mean, I like that.
Dude, listen to this review. 10 out of 10, brilliant by Adam Manth. Another brilliant from an uncorrect mind. Only a man with a pair of whatchamacallits as twisted as this can produce such masterful work. Are you serious? Like, oh my God.
And this guy also has lots of reviews. Most of them recent, but
maybe Neil Breen just like also reviews a bunch of other movies as to sell the. I don't know. Maybe he hired a server farm, like
Here's this one's good. Spielberg, Lucas, Tarantino, Scorsese. They are nothing compared to the mighty Neil Breen. They are nothing.
Where to start?
And then look at where to start. This movie is a masterpiece of cinema, full of green screen goodness. If it doesn't clean up at the Oscars, or Neil doing a part-time job as a cleaner, then there's something wrong with the world.
Oh, God.
I can only hope this is the second part of a Cade trilogy. If there's any weakness in the movie, it's a lack of tuna and laptop destruction. Oh, and a much younger love interest. Do you think this review might be a parody?
No, I think this guy is literally just a Breen hard, a hard.
It's deep on so many levels. It's got everything. I recommend a few drinks first, though, to help you get your head around it. Miss it at your. I think this guy's taking the piss.
Right, but can you imagine the type of person that ironically just loves Neil Breen movies and just like, I mean, I ironically love a bunch of stupid movies, but am I over here giving 10 out of 10 fraudulent reviews on IMDb just to sell a joke?
I don't know. You don't know. He might have done that with his mates and then all sat around laughing about it.
This is the Breen fan club in full force.
I mean, there's some genuine reviewers on here, which makes it all the more frightening that his clan is clearly spreading, If I decide to come back and do a 9-hour Neil Breen stream on the channel,
can we
guys,
do that?
Guys, I've been taken. And I'll expect you to put together some sort of commando team to come and rescue me from Breen's hideout. Why can't I rate it higher than 10? This movie has everything: giant chairs, 3-second looped fighting clips, dialogue, and even acting.
Acting? Whoa, you're telling me this movie has acting?
And then in this review, the guy goes, the script is so complex, I didn't have any idea what was going on. But that's because I'm a moron compared to the Breenius that wrote it.
God. Breenius. Oh my God.
Some of these people have got to be taking the piss.
I mean, no, obviously they are, but they're like how. I just envision how filthy these people's apartments are, or whatever. Like, what kind of person is this?
I mean, it is.
I'm getting a lot of bongs on the coffee table. A lot of bongs are on the coffee table.
This movie will change the world. It will affect generations to come.
Yeah, it's satire.
Logic and reason.
I love this. 1 star. What am I missing? I guess the CGI is good, but the script and acting was horrible. Like, there's one real guy here. Like, what? I don't get the joke here. It's kind of like Primus sucks. How like everyone says Primus sucks. This is like the joke. Like, oh, Neil Breen's a genius. Wink, wink. Haha. And then there's one guy who's actually bought tickets. He's like, I thought this was a good movie. What? I thought this was supposed to be a good movie. I'm confused. This movie is awful. And everyone's kind of like looking at him like, dude, you don't get it. You're not. It's like you're not playing with us, Peter. You gotta imagine the food on the table, you know? It doesn't work if you don't play along.
Yeah, it's like that episode in Community, isn't it, where everyone sat around watching a bad movie and Chevy Chase is the only one who's like struggling to comprehend what the fuck is happening.
Stupid. Oh yeah, no, that happens all the time for us. Sometimes bad movies suffer from a coherent plot, and that is definitely a common side effect with the Breen movies. Very difficult to decipher what the hell is going on.
This one's got a great opener. They say cinema is dead. Wait until you see this. I mean, oh man, I'm
fucking crying here. I am.
They're all rave reviews, except for there's 1 star and 1 3 out of 10. So Breenites are clearly ruling the land. I'm going to have to look at another one now. Hang on a minute. Let's look at these female. Judy Lay, the actress I said had an interesting name.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved her role as Patient. That was
She's also played Surfer Girl and Bridge of the Doomed, where she played a zombie.
Okay.
Very
interesting character names.
Now,
she's got range.
Is this like Neil Breen's casting scout checking her out?
Dude, it's like the fact that Neil Breen's doing everything, including taking headshots of his actors and putting them on IMDb for them. You know, he's doing everything. I bet.
No, listen, she's a jobbing actress, so I'm not gonna be down on her for taking a role in a.
But she's only seemed to have acted in Neil Breen films. Is that a mistake on my part, or is that
no? That's unfair. She's done some other bits.
Okay.
I think you have to be under the age of 30 to be a female in a Neil Breen.
Are we sure Surfer Girl isn't a Neil Breen movie?
We're not. Let's check it out.
That's what I'm saying. I think
no, it's directed by Christopher Nation.
Okay, good.
That's
like the plot thickening. Like you go into the actors like IMDb, all their roles are from other Neil Breen movies.
Life is all about choices. Or playing the trailer there, so I better jump back on that one. No, but let's Cade the Tortured Crossing. Clearly, there are more.
We should check out Surfer Girl. That seems cool.
We should check out Surfer Girl. That could be a cool movie.
Filmed on a green screen, at least from what I could tell from the first 3 seconds.
No, I'm curious to. It's funny, isn't it? You'd think because he's had 6 theatrically released feature films, that he'd have more shots of himself. But there's not that many on his.
Go back to that Fateful Findings poster, please. Chris, Luke, did you guys ever read those Animorph books? Like this is what
I did actually.
This is what those covers look like. You know what I mean? Like it's like so weird.
You know, Animorphs could work as a TV show if they did it right. I mean, like an actual. Well, they actually did make a TV show, but the premise.
What is going on with the computers? What is going on with the computers here at the bottom? I
don't know. A paranormal thriller where a computer hacker exposes worldwide secrets, and the actresses are Clara Landrat and Jennifer Autry, Victoria Valline, and David Silver, who's probably got a walk-on male role. Let's have a look at this one. 4.3 currently on IMDb, not doing as well.
This is what happens when more people besides the fan club start getting access to the movies.
Let's check out the stills. Okay, so that's a good still of David Silver. I think Neil Breen put that one up.
This can't be real.
It looks like a fucking.
Whoa! What's going on here?
Next slide. Or wait, no, maybe not next line. I don't know.
She's
I
not
don't know what
new.
you're about to see.
The sight of that hot women has been fucking run by Neil's fucking dad bod.
This is
Even
Neil
dad
Breen.
bod's not that fucking bad compared to his.
Well, he's I mean, he's like about 170 years old in alien years at this.
Yeah.
He
Hey,
shed
Moonbeam.
multiple skins over his lifetime.
Good to have you on the stream, buddy. I
Kelly.
haven't seen you for a while. Thanks for coming back. We've kind of diversified a bit, and we're doing a bit of a Neil Breen special impulsive stream just to keep these guys up until
It's
they
something, all right.
LA Confidential. So we may just have to change.
Now we're falling down this rabbit hole, and I'm
Yeah.
getting my mind blown.
God, these bloody green screens, they're just so perfect. They are.
I was just wondering, it's like, oh wow, he went on location, but
Yeah.
no, that's a green screen shot.
I remember the ending as well. All the bloody fat cats that he hacks into all bloody off themselves. It's like a montage of fat cats offing themselves. It's just pure gold. It is. So insane.
Let's check out what his female leading cast ladies have been doing. So Clara Landrat, here she is.
Yeah, she's pretty.
Born in North Africa, an American actress, born in the year 1990, so eligible for Neil Breen casting.
North Africa.
Yeah.
A little Charlize Theron.
Yeah, she looks a little age appropriate compared to the others.
She's a jobbing actress. She's done a few things. So you know, I'm never going to put anyone down for it. You know, acting's a hard job,
She's
man.
in Zoolander.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, as a model,
models.
uncredited model. So she's probably did modeling before she went into acting.
This girl was a model. I don't believe you.
Well, I hope these jobbing actors don't take it personally. We are taking the piss a little bit, but we don't really mean anything.
Like, Clara, you were in a terrible Neil Breen movie. What do you want from us?
No, look, hang on. So you said you don't believe she's a model. Well, she's got 90 stills.
I was joking. She's obviously very, very beautiful from her thumbnails. Yes, I mean,
look at that.
She looks she looks very Danish there. That's a very
I can tell from her like 1-inch little thumbnails that she's insanely attractive.
Okay, well, I'm sure that wasn't a factor in Neil Breen casting her. I'm
Not at all.
I'm sure it was, you know, it's funny because I've never seen any kind of unattractive female leads in his films. He's never had those kind of.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Maybe it's probably because in the Breeny verse, fat women just don't exist.
The BCU, we call it.
The BCU. Right. So let's go back to this movie for a sec. So then we had another actress, Jennifer Autry. That's a cool photo. I kind of like that. That's
Jennifer Autry. I like that. Sounds very classy as well.
So that's a wicked picture. That I like what she's
done.
done.
Yes. Is that David Boreanaz there?
Believe so. So she's only done a few things. Trans-American
Romeo
Killer.
and Juliet. What is that about?
So she was in an episode of Angel. So that's what that was. That was from.
There you go.
After Romeo and Juliet, that's a short film because they're both dead.
Yeah. What the hell happened after?
So I want to see some of these reviews. This one's got 100 reviews. Neil Breen equals American treasure. So this is a 3 out of 10. Neil Breen is a director who doesn't care for filmmaking rules, mainly because he doesn't know any of them. You know how movies are supposed to show, don't tell. Neil Breen tells, and tells. In the Breen universe, a guy who just saw a car accident has literally say, "I'm a witness," because other feeble minds may not understand the complex concept. That's pretty interesting.
There you go.
I like this one. Move over, Wizzo. There's a new sheriff in town.
Yeah, like I said, Neil Breen gets the award for the sheer volume of these movies that he produces. I mean, he's made at least a dozen or half a dozen or something.
He's 6.
6.
Yeah. So, this is a really long, detailed breakdown.
Jesus, yeah.
So he's like Tommy Wiseau times 6. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think the reviews on this movie are a little bit more
accurate.
Honest. I like this one.
That movie's out online and we can find it probably. I can't find Cade anywhere.
The best Neil Breen movie of 2013. Well, it's probably the only one. This is interesting. Fateful Findings, right up there with the likes of Birdemic and The Room as one of the greatest so bad it's good camp classics ever crafted. Okay. Bring the Booze. Yeah. Almost on par with Tommy Wiseau's The Room. No, just no. I like that. Under that, Better Than Sex. I'm sure that one was written by Neil Breen. No,
My Religion. That's the next one under that.
Wow, this is this is a detailed and quite vicious review. I watched Faithful Findings not necessarily with the intention of expecting a legitimately good movie. It's a sad state of affairs to do this when there are legitimately good to great films waiting to be taken in by my eyes and ears. This said, after witnessing this shit spectacle known as Double Down, my intrigue for Neil Breen films shot in HD, and this time with more actors than just himself on a rocky ledge with a bunch of laptops and tuna fish cans and maybe one or two others up. I was helping for a good, hysterically so terrible it's a wonderful time. As it turns out, it didn't disappoint. Possibly the worst film ever made. Yeah, okay. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, so the KFC famous bowl of movies.
The famous bowl.
But see, that's two different reviews to two different people. Like someone who likes the KFC bowl will be like, hell yeah. And someone who doesn't, it will be like, ew.
This is Neil Breen is pretty much an older, less sexy Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah, Tommy Wiseau's in better shape. I mean, say what you like about his face.
If I
The
had
guy's
to make
jacked.
sweet love to one of those guys, I guess I'd pick Tommy Wiseau. Ew.
Well, if I need someone to make love to my belly button, Tommy Wiseau would be the best one for it. Fucking.
Tommy Wiseau has such a strange like body. He's always getting his shirt off. Like at least like Neil Breen looks like your average like dad bod. Tommy Wiseau's body is like strange and lumpy.
Well, he's kind of. I feel like he's done a lot of things to it that
He's
are
got like a gargoyle body.
Yeah, he's probably had some. He's probably had some roids. I won't be surprised.
Well, Neil Breen, you've extended my usual running time from 2 hours to 3 hours.
Sorry,
can't blame him.
No, it's actually pretty funny.
I had fun. I had fun talking about Neil Breen with you, Lance.
Listen, man, maybe we'll do a Breen fest. And
let's do that several months from now. I don't want to jump into watching all the Neil Breen movies just yet. That sounds pretty daunting. I'm not gonna lie.
You might need
to
bring
the booze.
You probably need to coincide it with two things.
I come back. I gotta shave my head, man. But I would definitely do that because they say your hair carries the troubles of your past. So like if I watched all the Neil Breen movies in one sitting, I would definitely shave everything.
I think you need to A, book therapy to coincide with watching the movie. And, B, make sure you've got
too late for me.
I mean, these streams are my therapy, Lance.
Oh, dude. Man, this is a pretty horrifying still. Sorry, I just gotta share this of why
I like being horrified.
Jesus.
That's Neil Breen with ketchup sachet exploding. That's from
again.
That's from Double Down. Oh yeah, Keith says put Neil's name in your thumbnail. Maybe you'll pick up some new viewers.
Oh
yes,
probably will because he's
Neil Breen.
Neil Breen, English bastard. I think I might do that.
Right. Well,
Breen discussion.
On that really interesting rabbit hole that lasted about 45 minutes, but very entertaining. I'll just close by saying it's not easy to make a film. It takes a considerable amount of effort to even make a crap film. So if he's having fun doing what he's doing and he's enjoying himself, fair play.
Yeah. Hey, Fiona's been laughing. That's good.
And you know, I don't want to be too down on the guy. He's in his own world, but if he's enjoying himself in his own world, and you know, and some people are getting something out of his films, be that a coronary heart attack or other medical ailment, but you know, fair play, you know. But you are also entertaining us, Neil. So thank you very much.
True.
Right. Well, I think that's it from us. Princess Fiona, you've been lurking but not commenting. You should always comment.
It's okay.
Don't forget to come
Episode
to
3.
Episode 3 completed.
Lance is 3. You're this close to 3,000, right?
Subs. I'm getting there. Just a few hundred away from 3,000.
I'm 3 subs from 300. So there's more 3s. And then earlier, someone in the chat was talking about Equalizer 3. There's a lot of 3s in the stream.
Don't forget to sub to my friends' channels here. Sometimes I put the links in. Sometimes I forget. Northern Bastards is spelt in a really weird fashion, which is not good for him. I can never tag him in anything. But you can find them all quite easily. I'll try and edit them in later. But until then, if you're in America, don't forget to check out the LA Confidential stream, which is coming up in about an hour?
2 hours.
Yeah. Shit, I thought I extended I thought I managed to cut through some of your downtime there. Should we talk about Neil Breen for another 90 minutes?
I have to go take a shower after that segment. So.
I feel hot and sweaty.
I feel dirty.
Yeah.
Dirty boy.
Anyway, well, yeah. So after that dirty experience, put it like that. That sounds terrible. We'll talk about that topic another time, possibly 5 years from now. But until then, from the team on the
Neil Breen be with you, all of you.
Indeed, we'll be back next Tuesday. Don't forget, we've got the movie and TV quiz on Sunday. We've got an interview next Monday. We've got the Napoleon review next Monday. Lots of things coming up on the Outcast Creative channel. Until then, thanks everyone in the chat for your comments and stuff. Thanks to that bloke who gave money earlier. And don't forget to tell the people